Mark? Yeah, not much. We are about 7:50 until tip-off. About 3 or 4 minutes. Go right after that. And hey, I'm getting a big echo in my head, so hello. That's a lot better. Okay. Just checking. Sometimes when I can hear that, we're on the air. Can you hear me good? How about Ross? Ross,
can you hear me? Hello? Testing, 1, 2, testing.
Well, welcome everybody on the live stream. We're getting hooked up here with the radio station. We should be tip-off's about 6 minutes and 30 seconds away. Mark, I think they'll probably bump in here in a little bit, play the national anthem is my guess. So we'll just have to play it by ear. Let's just go in a minute and a half, just play the opener, and we'll take it from there. All right. Oh, welcome everybody. Dan Vitt alongside Ross Albertini. Glad to bring you tonight St. Paul action, where St. Paul will take on Baxter Springs. It's the boys' first action of this Southeast tournament. Last game played last Friday night at St. Mary's Colgan, where they come out with a big victory over St. Mary's Colgan. So hopefully the Indian boys can build some momentum off of that against a pretty good Baxter Springs team that they're going to face here tonight in this Southeast midseason tournament.
Yeah, Dan, the tour through the CNC League continues for the Indians. We've played Galena, we've played Columbus, we've played Colgan, and now we're playing Baxter Springs. Hopefully the win against Colgan gives us a little confidence coming into this game. We should be fresh. We've had plenty of time off, and the boys come out and play hard. You know, good things usually happen when you give good effort.
The girls come off a nice victory in the opening game they played against Jayhawk Lynn a couple nights ago, had a nice victory, and right after this boys game, the girls will match up against Baxter. On the boys' side, let's go back to the boys' side. St. Paul in a three-team pool, St. Paul, Baxter Springs, and Southeast is in the boys' pool. The winner of that pool, as well as Pool A, will play each other for first place, and then second place in each pool will play for third and fourth, and then fifth and sixth in the bottom side of the pool. So the Indian boys yet to determine where they will be at in that pool play. Hopefully can come out with a victory here tonight, and then they will play Southeast tomorrow night at 8:30. The girls, on the girls' side, they start out 1-0 on their pool, so they're on track, but they're going to face a very good Baxter Springs Lady Lions team here after this game. So Southeast tournament in full swing here, and we look for good action here tonight, Ross.
Yeah, I think you're going to see some high-quality basketball. You know, Baxter Springs, being a 3A school, is going to put 5 good athletes out on the floor at all times. Sometimes you don't see that playing 1A basketball. So the kids, you know, to get the win tonight, you just don't out-athlete or out-talent the other team. You're going to have to play hard. You're going to have to execute and, you know, maybe do things the right way that you get, because you can't get away with things maybe you do against lesser talented teams.
A lot of times it comes down to matchups, so we're just going to have to see how the Indians will match up against Baxter Springs. When I look back at common opponents, Baxter Springs beat Colgan by 6, and St. Paul just barely squeaked by Colgan. So I don't think it's out of the reach for the Indians to come up and play good tonight and beat Baxter, but they're going to have to play well.
Yeah, you don't get to have an off night when you play good teams. Not that we don't have the capability of beating them. We definitely do, but it's going to be one of those situations where, you know, we're just going to have to play good.
Lady Indians and both the men at times have been sluggish on offense. Has been a problem. I don't think it's been their defense on either girls and boys action. It's been offense at times that they've been a little sluggish on. Low-scoring game at Colgan, but Colgan, a lot of ball control, a lot of half-court offense, burned a lot of time off the clock. It was a low-scoring ball game, kind of be expected when the Indians got some transition. Seemed like they played pretty well and shot the ball pretty well, and hopefully that'll be the case here tonight.
Yeah, you know, when sometimes we have shooting problems, a little inconsistent from the field, and when you can get out and run and get up and down the court, all of a sudden, instead of shooting three-pointers and contested jump shots, you're shooting layups, and that makes a big difference, Dan. It gives you a chance. You know, your shooting percentage goes way up when you're shooting layups.
Yeah, and rebounding is a big factor when you're shooting poorly. Indians did a pretty decent job against St. Mary's Colgan rebounding the other night, and hopefully they can do the same tonight. Hopefully Caleb Lemons and Adam can get heated up from the outside, see if they can both get on track here early on and play well, see if they can knock the rust off early, not playing since last Friday night. We're going to go ahead and take a break for the national anthem. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. This is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Well, welcome back to Southeast Cherokee. As we are set for starting lineups for each team, we look for good action here tonight. St. Paul and Baxter Springs getting ready to tip off here in just a little bit. St. Paul playing back-to-back-to-back. Ross and I discussed earlier before we went on air about conditioning is going to be a big factor with the Indians playing tonight and then tomorrow night at 8:30 and then roll right around and have to play again Saturday morning. Pierce Stolte, a 5'8" junior, gets to start for Baxter Springs, and for the Indians of St. Paul, Caleb Lemons gets the nod. For Baxter Springs, number 15, Brant Morris, a 6'3" senior, gets the nod for the Lions. For the Indians, number 5, senior Hayden Smith will get to start for the Indians. Number 23, Andre Appleton, a 6'3" senior, gets the start for Baxter Springs. And for the Indians, number 11, Adam Albertini, senior, gets the start for the Indians. 33, 6'3" junior, Kane McCulley, gets the start. And number 15, senior Easton Dent, gets the nod for the Indians. Sophel Felix, a 5'10" senior, gets the start for Baxter Springs. And for the Indians, Chandler Bradshaw, the senior, will get the nod for the Indians. As I stated earlier, Indians not very deep on the bench, 6-7 people deep at the most. For the most part, seems like most of the time. We'll see what Coach Wartrick does here. Got more than that on the bench, but they get young real quick. See if he takes into consideration, I'm sure, how the game flow is going to depend on how much he subs Ross playing back to back to back.
Yeah, you know, probably tonight it won't be as big a factor as far as fatigue goes, but we start getting to that second and especially that third game into this tournament, you'll start seeing shots falling short because the legs are a little bit dead, because 3 nights in a row is hard even for 17 and 18-year-old boys that, you know, are in good shape. That's just a tough, tough chore to have.
Now, junior Ivan Murillo out in street clothes, battling injury. He's come off the bench and played some, as well as Austin O'Hara, also out, but back on the bench is Chase Bradshaw, and he's been shooting the ball well here lately. Tip is controlled by, it's going to be knocked out of bounds by the Indians and go to Baxter Springs on the tip, so they will control the opening tip-off. Knocked out of bounds by Caleb Lemons.
Looks like the Indians are going to come out in a 1-3-1 zone, Dan.
Morris with the basketball. That looks like they convert into a man-to-man, Ross, as they start in the game. Switching things off. Morris with the basketball. Long three-point shot, and he buries it from the right wing. And going to have to get a hand in somebody's face because Baxter leads 3-0 right off the get-go.
Yeah, good start for Baxter. It's always nice when you come out and hit that first shot, especially when it's a three-pointer.
Bradshaw with the basketball. Man-to-man defense applied by Baxter Springs. Lemons with the ball. He's guarded out there by Appleton. I think Lemons could take him off the dribble if they want to go a little ISO here some point in the game. Hayden Smith with the basketball, left wing, looks inside. The Indians being patient here in offense. Down to the baseline to Dent. Dent's got a little size in there on Felix, too.
Yeah, that looks like a matchup the Indians might be able to exploit, Dan.
Now, long three by Lemons is no good. Rebound comes out to Baxter Springs. Morris with the basketball. The point guards handled the ball so far. He whips it inside to McCulley. Almost stolen away by the Indians. Now Felix with it up at the top of the key. Right wing back to Morris. Morris handles the ball against Lemons up above the timeline. Whips it left wing to Felix. Felix holds the ball down to the corner to Stolte. Now ball's loose, but it ends up in Baxter Springs' hands. Good hands by the Indians. They poked it away a couple times, but unable to get it.
Yeah, just having bad luck on the as the ball creams away. It's gone right to Baxter Spring both times.
Morris with the basketball, and now it's going to go safe back inbounds, and it's going to be into the backcourt. It's going to be a backcourt violation on Baxter Springs, so it goes back to the Indians.
Yeah, Baxter tried really hard to turn that ball over that possession. It took them 3 times to do it, but they finally got the job done.
Indians with the basketball. Lemons with it in the backcourt. Comes across half court. Screen set by Albertini.
There's the matchup you're talking about, Dan. It looks like we at least tried to get it into Easton down low on a kid he probably has about 3 inches on.
I'd like to see Albertini and Lemons, just like against St. Mary's Colgan, like them just clean out and go to the hole. I think Adam, there he goes, right down the baseline, whips it across. It's going to be a blocking foul on Baxter Springs. I think there's a matchup there I think there's 3 matchups that look pretty good for the Indians. Albertini, Lemons, and Dent. I like who's guarding them. I think Albertini and Lemons have a speed advantage on their man, and Dent's definitely got a height advantage.
Yep, let's see if we can play some smart basketball and
Albertini
make it work.
Fakes the three, pulls up, 15-footer, buries it. It's good, and it's a 3-2 lead for Baxter Springs. They lead by 1. Morris with the basketball. He crosses half court. Chandler Bradshaw on him. Right wing over to Stolte. Switch. Albertini on Felix now. Down into number 33, McCulley. Back up top to Appleton. Appleton feeds it to Felix. He runs into Dent. Ball's loose on the floor, and it's going to be an injury timeout as boy, Dent on that linebacker position. He's used to playing fullback and linebacker. Felix went cutting through the lane. Dent just held his ground. He ran right smack dab into him, and he ended up a little shaken up on the play.
Yeah, it's probably a good no call by the refs. I don't think it was a charge, but I don't think it was a block. But he did. I think he might have stepped on Easton. He went down to the ground hard, but I think he stepped on Easton's ankle, and that's why he's kind of rolled his and needs a little break.
Checked in is Gray, 6'2" senior for Baxter. That's a moving screen. He gets away with it. Appleton with it. Feeds it out to Gray. Gray at left wing with it. Hands it back off to McCauley. McCauley whips it up top to Morris. Morris holds the ball against Chandler Bradshaw. Feeds it off to Stolte. Stolte, Hayden Smith on him. He walked. Turnover on Baxter Springs. Gives it back to the Indians.
Nice two good defensive possessions in a row by the Indians has resulted in 2 Baxter turnovers, Dan.
Indians with the basketball. Albertini feeds it in to Lemons. Lemons picked up out there by Appleton. I think you're right, Ross. It's going to be easy to remember the names on each team because I'm not sure there's going to be a lot of 7 going on. We'll see as the game goes along. Easton Dent with it, hands it back to Albertini. Albertini out to Lemons. Lemons gets past Appleton. Shot from the elbows, long, no good. Appleton with the rebound for Baxter. Feeds it off to Morris. Morris right wing with it, picked up out here by Bradshaw. 4:24 left to go in the first period. 3-2 Baxter up by 1. And almost a travel. Fed back into McCauley. McCauley feeds it inside to Morris. Out to Appleton. 3-point shot off. No good. Dent with a rebound. Dent feeds it out to Lemons. Lemons brings the ball across half court. Timeline now to Bradshaw. Bradshaw all the way past everyone. Layup good. And he's fouled.
Yeah, that was a very nice offensive play by Bradshaw. He got the ball about just inside the 3-point line, took 2 dribbles, and he's, of course, a left-hander, and he just went right in with that left hand and laid it in, and now he's got a chance for 3.
I hate the 4 and 5 guard, Ross, but it sure looks like the Indians can spread Baxter out and maybe go to the hole a few times here to get some good looks at the basket. 4-3, Bradshaw misses the free throw, but the Indians lead by 1. Morris with the basketball for Baxter. Feeds it right wing. Now it's tipped away. Now retrieved. Gray with it. Feeds it inside to Appleton, and he's going to be fouled on the floor by Lemons. Appleton got past. Lemons had position.
Yeah, and that looks like maybe a good matchup for Baxter Springs. Appleton, he's been playing on the perimeter, and Caleb, I don't know if he's been guarding the whole time, but Appleton's probably got a good 4 or 5 inches on Caleb.
Morris with the basketball. Bradshaw on him. Feeds it to Gray down at the post. Give and go to McCauley. Shot up, no good. Hayden Smith with the rebound. Feeds it to Albertini. Now Albertini on the outlet. Cross-court pass over to Bradshaw. Bradshaw, long 2-point shot. Way long, no good. Appleton with the rebound. He feeds it out to Morris. Morris picked up again by Chandler Bradshaw. Screen set by Appleton. All the way to the rim. Shot up and good. And Morris with all 5 of Baxter Springs' points. Hayden Smith with the basketball. Shot up, no good, but he's fouled, and he'll go line shoot 2.
You know, again, Indians really got the ball down court after the made basket by Baxter. They got the ball down court quick, and Hayden was able to get up with a chance for the layup, really. So it was good, aggressive basketball by Indians.
Hayden Smith at the line to shoot 2. Indians trail by 1, 5-4. 3:15 left to go in the first. Smith's first free throw. He gets it to crawl over the front of the rim, and it's good. To the scorer's table for Baxter Springs is number 22, Drew Williams, number 13, Zach Beeler, a 6'2" junior.
Yeah, that's
out is number 33, McCauley.
Yeah, he has 2 fouls already, Dan.
The 2 of the 3 fouls. Shot no good. Chandler Bradshaw with the rebound, feeds it out to Albertini, drives the baseline. Cross-course pass stolen away by Gray. Adam got kind of hung up on the baseline, nowhere to go with it. Had to throw it to somebody, tried to get it to Dent, and threw it right in the hands of Gray. Down to the baseline, Appleton, turnaround jump shot, no good. Adam Albertini, backside rebound. He pushes the ball down the floor rather quickly. Gets right past his man, all the way to the rim, feeds it off to Smith. Shot up, no good. Rebound goes to Baxter Springs, Beeler.
I like watching the Indians be aggressive, though, with the fast break. That's one good way to beat a good defense is to get down and get a shot up before they can really get set, and they've tried that 2 or 3 times already, and I think it'll really start working for them later on.
Beeler out to Appleton. He gets past Lemons. Good feed inside to Gray. Layup good. 7-5. Baxter up by 2. 2:23 left to go here in the first period. Chandler Bradshaw with the basketball. Hesitation. Shot from the elbow well short. No good. One shot and done. Not exactly the best shot in the world, taken by Chandler. And Baxter up by 2, 7-5. Baxter Springs right back down with the basketball. Up top to Stolte. Now to Beeler at left wing. He's guarded out there by Smith. Looks inside to Appleton. Lemons picks him up. Now feed inside to Gray. Quick turnaround shot, no good. And it's going to be a foul on Baxter Springs on Gray, I believe, over the back of Easton Dent. 1:54 left to go in the first period. Timeout. Coach Wadrick, 30-second timeout. We'll be back after that 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Oh, welcome back to the Lancer Classic, St. Paul Trail, 7-5. Out of this 30-second timeout, taken by Coach Watrick. 1:54, fast moving first quarter. 14 fouls on Baxter, 1 on the Indians.
Yeah, Dan, it'd be nice to maybe see the Indians run the offense and try to take advantage of some of the matchups we've talked about earlier in the broadcast.
Bradshaw with the basketball. Now a little zone applied by Baxter Springs, Ross. A little matchup zone. Maybe it's still a man. I guess they are still in a man. It's a real sagging man-to-man. They're leaving people out on the perimeter. Long three-pointer by Lemons. Short, no good. Rebound comes out to Appleton.
Well, you know, if we're going to have trouble shooting the ball, probably sagging off and letting us have open jump shots from the outside is not a bad strategy.
Morris, long jump shot, no good. Rebound, long rebound, right in the hand of Gray. Adam Albertini had a chance at it, knocked it right in the hands of Gray, so they get another opportunity here. Missed opportunity for the Indians. Morris with it. Kick out. Back to Morris.
Yeah, Dan.
Morris, three-point shot, top of the key. Short, no good. Appleton tries to save it in, but it's out of bounds.
Seems like we've had about 4 or 5 just loose balls or balls that have been tipped, and they've all rolled back to Baxter. Hopefully that evens out in a little bit, and, you know, we start getting the breaks on those.
55.4 left to go in the first. Indians trail 7-5. Indians with the basketball. That ball was out of bounds on Baxter Springs. Lemons with the basketball. Feeds it in to Albertini. Indians need to try to get a few offensive rebounds. Not shooting the ball real well. Now feed inside to Chase Bradshaw to the backside to Dent. He drives in the lane, shot up. He's fouled, and he's going to go line and shoot two.
Yeah, it was a nice aggressive move by Easton. I think that's, you know, we think he can take the ball inside on him tonight. He's got really good footwork and does that. And you'll kind of look at the scoreboard, and the fouls are kind of piling up for Baxter at this point.
15 foul on Baxter Springs. Dent's first free throw long, no good. Indians are going to have to clean the free throw situation up if they're going to hang in this game. It's going to be one of them games where you're going to need every point you can get. 7-5, Indians trail by 2. Dent at the line to shoot his second. It's on its way, and it's in there and good. It's a 1-point game. 35.2 seconds left to go. Morris with 5 of the 7 Baxter Springs points. He feeds it off left wing to Stolte. To Beeler now. Back to Stolte. Long three-point shot by him. Off the back iron, no good, but the rebound comes to Beeler. Backside to Appleton. Layup's good, and he's fouled. That's going to be the second foul on Caleb Lemons.
Yeah, that's one, you know, as we talked about the lack of depth that both teams maybe have. For the Indians, you hate to see Caleb pick up a second foul because, you know, we're probably thinnest at the guard position, Dan, and that's one of the spots we can't afford to go to the bench at.
Second foul on Lemons, and Appleton gets the free throw to go. It's biggest lead of the game for Baxter. 10-6, they're up by 4. Lemons can't ill afford to pick up another foul here for a while, hopefully not the first half. Now tipped away and stolen by Morris from Bradshaw. Dent on the layup, good by Morris at the buzzer, and the biggest lead of the game, 6-point lead for Baxter at the end of the first quarter. So steal by Baxter, and Morris goes the length of the floor, exactly what the Indians didn't need against Bradshaw, and they trail by 6 at the end of 1. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. The St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back. Started the second quarter. Dent with the basketball. Feeds it to Bradshaw. Bradshaw jump shot short, no good. Rebound comes out to Stolte for Baxter Springs. Baxter with 6-point lead. Morris with the majority of the points for Baxter. 7 of the 12 points. Now Appleton pull-up jump shot, no good. Rebound comes out to the Indians. Albertini with it. Morris back. Albertini blows past him all the way to the rim. Layup no good. Gets his own rebound. It's going to be a foul on Appleton. Over the top. 6th team foul on Baxter Springs.
Yeah, you know, if the Indians could take advantage of the foul trouble, to do that, you got to make the free throws, of course. But one more, and we're in the bonus on the next foul. 2
on Appleton. That's kind of big too, as he has to come out of the game. Into the game is Henry Riley, 5'7" junior. Indians need to crawl back into this game a little bit. Not that they're way out of it, but
it's kind of a danger spot, Dan. You're down 6. That's not bad, but you sure don't want to let that lead get up any bigger.
Lemons all the way to the rim. Reverse layup, no good. Dent with a rebound. Jump ball and possession arrows to Baxter Springs. Coach Wadrick doesn't like that a bit, and I can't say I do neither. Easton Dent wasn't hardly long enough to be a jump ball, but turns out to be one. Baxter Springs basketball. Morris with the ball for Baxter Springs. They lead by 6, just underway here in the second quarter. Now Beeler with it. That's a walk by Stolle. Got away with it. Now into Gray, back up top to Riley, just into the game. Feeds it off to Morris. Now the double team coming. Morris tries to whip it across. Stolen by Albertini. Ahead to Bradshaw. Layup good.
Yeah,
good give and go. Good double team, creating a turnover. And the Indians now trail by 4, 12-8.
Yeah, offense created by defense. And look, you know, Baxter has some of their subs in, and you might be maybe not as good handling the ball, and the Indians were able to take advantage of it.
Stolle with the basketball off to Beeler. Beeler holds the ball over his head, guarded by Chase Bradshaw. Long three-point shot on the way, and good by Henry Riley, the 5'7" junior, and right back up to a 15-8 lead. Indians can't hit an outside shot, and Baxter doing a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, Baxter's already got 2 3-pointers in the game.
Dent spins, up and under move, right-hand layup, good. Good move by Easton. 5-point lead for Baxter, 15-10. 6:03 left to go here in the second period.
That's it.
6 of the 15 points of Baxter's 3-pointers. Riley is sub off the bench, hitting a big one just a second ago. Stolte with the basketball up top to Beeler. Beeler right wing to Gray. Gray guarded by Dent. Man-to-man defense applied by the Indians. Very patient half-court offense now. Beeler with a 3-point shot left wide open, no good. Albertini with the rebound. He streaks down the floor. Got a 3-on-2 now, a 4-on-2 all the way to Lemons. Layup, no good. In and out. Bradshaw with the rebound. Putback's good. Timeout. Baxter Springs. 3-point lead for Baxter, 15-12. 5:25 left to go here at halftime. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to the Southeast Lancer Classic. St. Paul and Baxter Springs opening around game for the Indian boys here. They trail 15-12. 5:20 left to go here before halftime. Baxter Springs with the basketball coming out of that timeout. Riley at right wing guarded by Smith. Up top to Stolle. Back to Morris at left wing. Dent on him now. He drives past Dent, feeds it out to Riley. Boy, he looks like he travels. Feeds it back to Gray. Gray feeds it back to Riley. Now right wing to Stolle. Adam on him. He's out there pestering him hard. Up top to Beeler. Now Morris with it. Pull up jump shot on the way and good.
Yeah, you know, Baxter does a very good job of knowing who their main offensive threat is, and they get him the ball and he takes all their shots.
Now Adam Albertini just blows past everybody, and he's going to go line and shoot too. 17 foul on Baxter Springs. There's that quickness by the Indians as he blew past everyone.
Yeah, I think Indians have an advantage when it comes to maybe pushing the ball down the court.
The Indians need to tighten up on Morse and make somebody else score for Baxter. He is their main cog on offense. Adam hits his first free throw, and Lemons right back into the game. He's going to give Easton Dent a little breather. 6-man rotation so far for the Indian boys. Baxter just a little bit more, but only because a couple fouls on Appleton and a couple on McCulley for Baxter. Adam gets both of them to go, and we're back to a 3-point ball game.
Yeah, Caleb has 2 fouls coming back into the game. He needs to play smart on defense and don't pick up anything stupid.
4:33 left to go here in the first half. Riley with the basketball, top to Stoley, over to Beeler. Beeler holds the ball. Back up top to Riley. Screen set by Beeler. Riley gets around, now pulls up the shot. Tough shot, and he gets it to go with his left hand somehow. And everything going for Baxter. Indians doing all right here offensively. They trail by 5. Going to have to hang with them here. 2-3 zone now applied by Baxter Springs. A little different look by Baxter. Chase Bradshaw with it to Chandler. Whips it over to Adam Albertini. Into Smith. Out to Lemons. Long 3-point shot. No good. Chandler Bradshaw with the rebound. Put back good.
Yeah. Chandler now with 6 points on the night. Doing a very good job. That was a nice offensive rebound.
Morris with the basketball. Now Gray sets the screen. Switch. Morris still with it. Feeds it off to Riley. Riley to Beeler. Beeler back to Morris. Hayden Smith still on him. Ooh, he almost walked with it. Feeds it to the right wing to Riley. Double team now to Beeler at the free throw line. Beeler back up top to Riley. Riley's come in and hit a couple shots, a 3-pointer and a 2-pointer. Lemons with the reach in, swats it away, but ends up in Baxter's hands.
Yeah, Riley's
Morris pull up jump shot outside the free throw line. He is hot, can't miss, and the Indians can't guard him.
Yeah, he's a kid that's about 6'3", so he's a tough matchup for our guards, and we have Hayden on him, and Hayden's maybe not used to guarding out on the perimeter, but when you can't miss, it sure makes it hard to play defense.
Adam Albertini pull up shot from the baseline, no good. Gets his own rebound, chases it down. It's going to be out of bounds off of the Indians. It goes back to Baxter Springs. 5-point lead for Baxter. Moore's never come out of the game yet, neither has Albertini, so Indians going to have to do a little better job tightening up on Morris, making somebody else score. 21-16, 5-point lead as he's hit the last couple shots off the screens, and the Indians switching on those screens.
You know, we've had him in the bonus for been in the bonus for quite a while. It'd be nice to see the guys maybe
wide open 3-point shot by Morris off the backboard, and he can't miss. The Indians double team, then they leave him wide open, and he banks it off the backboard. Gives Baxter the biggest lead of the game by 8. Indians going to have to figure out they can't leave him no matter what, because he can't miss. Lemons with another 3-pointer, and off the rim, no good. Rebound to Baxter.
Indians are a little cold from the outside. It'd be nice to maybe see him work that zone and try to pound it inside to Easton.
2 minutes left to go here before halftime. 8-point lead for Baxter Springs with 2 minutes left to go in the half. Beeler with the basketball. A lot of room given by him. Now Moore's coming around the screen into the lane. What's that moving screen up?
No, they called a carry. I think
he
palmed that ball, carried it over on it when he made his move inside the lane. Probably one of those borderline. You'll see that it was kind of a borderline call, but it was done enough to where you could make the call.
Turnover on Baxter Springs, gives it back to the Indians. 1:53 left to go here in the first half. 24-16, 8-point lead for Baxter Springs, led off the hot shooting hand of Morris, the senior, to the corner to Bradshaw. Bradshaw cross court past Albertini into Dent. Dent got good position, layup good, and he's fouled.
Yeah, that was set up by good ball movement on the perimeter. It went from the corner out to Adam out on the top of the key, and he made a nice entry pass down into Easton, and he had position down low, and Easton, he's money tonight down low. That's good.
Dent at the free throw line for the and one. Whoop. Now sub comes to the scores table. It's number 20, Kip, a 6'3 senior. Hayden Kip for Baxter Springs. Another 6'3 senior comes in for Baxter. A lot of 6'3 players on their roster. Dent's free throw is right through there and good. Dent gets it down to a 5-point lead.
That was a nice answer by the Indians, Dan. They pushed the score up to 8, and you didn't want to see it go into double digits, almost going into halftime, and the Indians go down and get a 3-point play and cut that back down to 5.
1:27. Need a good defensive run here late in this first half. tighten up on defense. Just 2 team fouls on the Indians, so they can be fairly aggressive on the floor. Lemons with both of those fouls, and he's on the bench, which is a good move by Coach Wattrick. So the Indians can be fairly aggressive here, Ross, going down the stretch with 1 minute left.
Yeah, it'd be nice to force another turnover and get another shot at chipping in this lead a little bit more. You definitely don't want to leave number 15 open. He's been hot all night for the Baxter.
Morris with the basketball. Now he's picked up by Chase Bradshaw. Now he drives past Chase into the rim. That's a walk. And guess what? He gets it to go off the backboard, and he scores again for Baxter Springs. The Indians cannot stop him, and he is carrying the load for Baxter. Indians need to go ahead and put 4 people on him and make somebody else score. Yeah. Off to Chase Bradshaw. I'm sure Coach Wattrick, not this horrible defense, just that he can't miss, making everything that he shoots. Now back into Dent. Dent, good move by Dent as he splits the double team. Beeler tries to do a little acting job and get the charge. It doesn't work, and Dent cuts it back to a 5-point lead.
Yeah, we're doing a nice
18 seconds left to go here before halftime.
Doing a nice job of getting it inside against the zone, and Easton's making him pay.
Now Morris give it up, so don't let him touch the ball again with 10 seconds. Get up on him, Chandler, and deny him the ball, but instead he lets it get it right back in his hands, and he drives right past him towards the rim, and it goes out of bounds, and that's going to be off the foot of Chase Bradshaw as Morris went hard to the rim. Now there's 1.9 seconds left to go. Watch, this is going to be a quick inbounds and right back to him.
Yeah, Baxter's got a lot of height. They're probably going to try to lob it up in the middle and hope for a tip in.
Morris, he's up a shot, and it's no good. Rare miss by him, and it's a 5-point lead here at halftime for Baxter Springs, 26-21. We'll be back with our halftime show after this 2-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul Basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to the Southeast Lancer midseason tournament where St. Paul trails Baxter 26-21 after the first half. Indians trail by 5. Baxter 26 points, led big by their big senior Morris at the center position. Not sure how many points he has, but he's got to be getting close to, he's got to be over 15 points anyway on the ball game.
I got him down for 14, Dan, but
14.
he's, you know, that's over half the points for Baxter so far. The only other kid who scored more than one basket is number 5. I think is Riley. He came in with a quick 5 off the bench for him for some nice minutes for the Lions. But yeah, the story's Morris. You know, if he's going to keep shooting like he's shooting, it's going to be tough to keep him, you know, claw back in this thing in the second half. But if he comes back down to earth a little bit, I think the Indians are only down 5 are really within good striking distance.
I think it's a pretty good matchup for the Indians. I don't see nothing that the Indians can't get around. I think they have some one-on-one. Just not the best shooting in the first half by the Indians, especially Caleb Lemons. He's held scoreless. First thing that stands out to me in the stat line is he's held scoreless. He's 0 for 4. The only 4 3-pointers taken by the Indians, all 4 has been taken by Caleb. He hasn't hit one yet. He's 0 for 6 from the field. He kind of didn't shoot that well against Colgan neither, and he'd been shooting the ball great before that. So hopefully he can get out of this funk he's in, a little short-time funk, and keep shooting and get a little confidence after he buries one and start lighting things up here in the second half.
You bet. You know, for most of the first half of the season, Caleb has been the offensive leader for the Indians, making a lot of shots night after night. Tonight he's 0 for 4 from the three-point land, but, you know, he's not taking bad shots, and when you're not taking bad shots, they're going to start falling at some point. For the Indians, though, Easton Dent leads the way with 8 points, followed by Chandler Bradshaw with 6, you know, which shows the Indians have done a good job of trying to get the ball down low. Especially, they went to his zone, and a lot of times it's hard to get the ball down low against his zone defense, and yet Easton had 6 points pretty easily down low against him late in the second quarter. Adam Albertini also has 4 points, and then Hayden Smith has 1 free throw, and Chase Bradshaw has 2 points also.
We're going to have all your individual, we're going to have more stats and get ready for the second half after this next 2-minute timeout. You're the St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Southeast Lancer Classic here. Hold on just a second here. I'm going to pull up the shooting stats for the Indians. The Indians not shooting that bad from the field, Ross. I don't think you give that stat, able to add that up, but 42% from the field, 8 for 19 overall for 42%, 8 for 15, 53% from two-point land, and as I stated earlier, 0 for 4 for three-point land. That brings your percentage down, and shooting free throws 5 for 9, 55%. So overall from the field, not too bad a shoot percentage.
No, you know, for our team, anything over 40% is pretty solid, Dan. And you know, you watch that first half unfold. We did a couple of things really well. We were able to get the ball down the court on a fast break ahead of Baxter a couple of times, and I think that's something we should continue to try to do in that second half is try to beat their defense down court. On offense, you know, we were able to work the ball inside, which tells me that, you know, even when they're in that zone, we shouldn't have to settle for taking three-point shots. We ought to just keep either driving the ball in, which our guards are more than capable of doing, or pounding it down low to Easton Dent and Chandler Bradshaw, because as you can look from the scoring totals, when they get it down low, they are able to score.
Now on Baxter's side, I don't have any individual stats. Ross went over some of them, but this will be a standout of how Baxter needs to cool off a little bit. They're 11 for 16 overall, 68% from the field, 8 for 11 from two-point land, shooting 72%, and 3 for 5 for three-point land at 60%, and 1 for 1 from the free throw line for 100%. So you come out and shoot 68% from the field, two-point land and three-point land, and that's an awful good shooting percentage for Baxter Springs. It's going to be hard for the Indians to get around them shooting that hot. Hopefully they cool off a little bit here in the second half.
Yeah, you would think the law of averages says they can't continue to shoot that way the rest of the game. Of course, Opie earlier in the season, I think, shot 72% for the whole game. So, it's been proven that it can be done. But, yeah, if they can just come back down to a nice 40-45% shooting percentage, which really isn't a bad percentage in a high school game, that's sure going to help the Indians, maybe be able to overcome the lead.
Yeah, if they do that for the game, that means they're going to shoot about 20% from the field this half, and that'll be just right for the Indians. If the Indians can continue to shoot that 42% clip, I would predict a victory for the Indians here. They're playing pretty well on defensively. It's just a Morris. He couldn't miss. I don't know what his shooting percentage had to be, well over 60% from the field, 70%, because he couldn't miss. He even, to the point of banked one off the backboard on a three-point shot. Maybe he called it, maybe he meant to, but it didn't really look like it. Looks like he just shot it and missed enough that he made it just right. So yeah, you'll never see that in the scorebook. So
no, this is kind of, against Columbus when Cassidy got hot against us, it's kind of the same thing. They just have had a player get hot at the right time. As far as fouls go in the first half, Dan, neither team really is in a lot of foul trouble. We have Caleb Lemons with 2 fouls, and I think he might be the only player on the team with the foul. So that shouldn't be an issue in the second half. And Baxter had a couple of guys pick up 2 fouls early in the game, but they set out, and so they don't really have anybody in horrible foul trouble either.
It was a fun game, fun half to watch, going back and forth. A lot of action in that ball game, a lot of up and down the court. 2 very, what I call, evenly matched. I think it's a pretty good matchup for the Indians. Look for the Indians to try to get back in this here early on in this third quarter. Out on the floor to start the second half for the Indians, Adam Albertini, Caleb Lemons, Chandler Bradshaw, Easton Dent, and Hayden Smith on the floor for Baxter Springs. Gabe Gray gets the start. Morse is out there. Appleton, Riley, and number 11, Stolte. St. Paul starts with possession of the basketball. Baxter Springs starts in a 2-3 zone to start the second period here. Hayden Smith with the basketball out to Albertini. Albertini at left wing. And I think Coach for Baxter made a little adjustment here at halftime going into this zone, knowing that the quickness of St. Paul's passed him a few times. Adam Albertini, 3-point shot, right wing, good. He buries it and gets a good start to the second half for the Indians. And it's 26-24 lead, 2-point lead for Baxter Springs.
Yeah, that's a nice way to come out of the locker room, and that's hit a 3-pointer and cut the lead to 2 right out of the gate.
Appleton with the basketball for Baxter Springs, and that's going to be a moving screen, and that's going to be the 3rd foul, I believe, on McCauley, isn't it, Ross?
Yeah, that's 3 on him.
And the moving screen, player control goes back to the Indians, so the Indians with a chance here to tie or take the lead with a good possession here. Lemons feeds it in to Albertini. Albertini crosses half court with it. Right wing over to Chandler Bradshaw. Bradshaw to the corner to Lemons. Lemons guarded by McCauley. He stays in the game. Back to Bradshaw. He to the free throw line, shoots it up, no good. Rebound knocked out of bounds by Morris. It's going to stay with the Indians. A lucky break for the Indians, knocked out of bounds by the senior.
Yeah, first half we couldn't get a loose ball like that. It's nice to see that maybe this ball's going to bounce our way a little bit this half.
Now Morris swats it straight up in the air, and him and Bradshaw both go up for it. Problem is Chandler was standing out of bounds. So it goes right back to Baxter. So a bad turnover underneath the basket on the inbounds play. McCauley with it, now to Gray. Gray guarded by Dent. Back to the corner to Stoley. And I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but that's what we're going to stick with. Morris with the basketball at right wing. Chandler out on him. Chandler trying to give him a little room as he's way out beyond the three-point line. Good play inside. Appleton gets past Lemons, and a good pass inside, and it's up to a 4-point lead for Baxter Springs.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that matchup in the first half. Appleton he's got a good 3 or 4 inches over Caleb Lemons, so I can see them trying to post him up out in the second half.
Indians are going to have to bury a shot or two. Now Dent down low with it, puts it up and in over the top of Gray. Good move by Easton. Get it back to a 2-point lead. Stoley with the basketball. Back up top to Morris. Screen set by Appleton. Now the switch. Morris gets around. Oh, it's going to be a foul on. That's going to be on Lemons. That's going to be his third early on here in the third period. 5:48 left to go here in the third. That's going to bring Chase Bradshaw to the scorer's table. In for Caleb.
The only thing, you don't want to lose Caleb because he's, again, one of our better scorers, but it does allow Bradshaw to match up with Appleton a little bit better because Bradshaw's about the same height.
Shot by Appleton, three-pointer on the way off, no good. Fought for underneath. It's going to be, oh, man, how do you give it to Red?
Oh.
Two Baxter Springs players standing there. Chase Bradshaw there, and knocked out of bounds. It was out on Baxter Springs. They're going to stick with Baxter Springs. They're going to stick with the call and give it to them under their own basket. Chase Bradshaw dismayed that, how was that out on me? I didn't even touch it.
Yeah, that one's a little bit of a head scratcher.
Another three-pointer by Appleton. Long rebound comes out to Hayden Smith. Somehow gets it down court to Albertini, and he converts on the layup as he goes to the floor. Tied at 28, no call, but Albertini kind of created himself a little bit of space, so I think that's a pretty good no call. But he made the tough layup. Now Gray with the basketball out to McCauley, back out to Gray, giving him a lot of space outside the arc. Now back to Morris. Adam Albertini on him. Now Dents on him. That's kind of a mismatch. Going to have a little help. Now another shot by Appleton. Off, no good. Rebound comes out to Chandler Bradshaw. Bradshaw pushes the ball down the floor, down the left side. Feeds it to Albertini. Albertini into the lane. Out to Chase Bradshaw. Three-point shot, no good. Rebound comes to Gray.
The Indians are coming out aggressive on offense. They're shooting the ball pretty good, and that's why they're right back in this with a tie game.
Timeout. Baxter Springs, 30-second timeout. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back out of this 30-second timeout. Baxter Springs with the basketball. One thing he didn't mention, Felix stepped on the ankle of one of the Bradshaw boys. And he hasn't come back in. I see him. It doesn't look like he's going to come back in. He's limping heavily on that ankle. So see if that affects Baxter Springs and their depth any.
Yeah, you hate to see a kid get hurt. Hopefully it's just a minor sprain, and he can, if he's not back tonight, he can be back tomorrow.
Yeah, McCauley with the basketball. Back out to Morris. You can tell the Indians being a little more aggressive on Morris here this half. Screen set, now Morris all the way to the rim, layup good, and he's fouled. He drives right past everybody and all the way to the rim. Dent unable to get there in time.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the things that impresses me about Morris is he's not single. He's got multi-dimensional aspects to his offensive game. He can shoot the three, but he can put the ball in the court and take it to the basket as well.
Chase Bradshaw with the foul. Morris to the line for the and one. On its way and good. I'm not sure, even though it's a height matchup, you shouldn't put Lemons or Albertini on him. A little more quickness. Three-point shot by Chandler. Quick one. Backside rebound. Loose on the floor. Dent swats it out, and it comes out to McCauley, and he walks with the basketball and turns it right back over to the Indians.
Yeah, we do so good when we get the ball down low. I hate to see us maybe settle for those outside shots at this point, or at least that fast in the offense, Dan.
Albertini with the basketball, feeds it in to Chase Bradshaw. Three-point shot by him. Off the rim, no good. Appleton with the rebound. Chandler Bradshaw, the only one back. Morris all the way to the rim. Layup, no good. And he walked with the basketball. And it's going to be a turnover on Baxter. Lucky break for the Indians because they had numbers. It was 3-on-1. Lemons right back into the game for Hayden Smith. 4:02 left to go here in the third. Indians trail by 3, 31-28.
Yeah, they had numbers and the ball in their best players' hands.
Indians need to get a few steals with some transition points here. This zone defense kind of quieted the Indians' offense to start here in the third quarter. The Indians scored, but it's mostly off of transition points when they got back into this game. Chandler Bradshaw drives the baseline. Tough shot. No good. Rebound, McCauley on the backside.
Yeah,
Morris
Baxter has
ahead
good
to
height.
Appleton. Appleton back to Morris.
Yeah, Baxter has good height, so when you take it in there, they're not easy to get the shot over.
Morris now picked up by Albertini. Screen set. Now Dent on him. Back up top to Gray. Gray now inside. A wide open three-point shot by Morris. No good. Lemons with the backside rebound.
Well, the law of averages said he had to miss sometime, Dan.
It was close off the rim. Off to Adam Albertini. Back up top to Bradshaw. Into the lane. Pull-up jump shot blocked by Gray. He got in there in no man's land and was on his way down when he finally took that shot and had it blocked by Gray. So not a couple not very good possessions by the Indian boys, and they trail by 3. Baxter Springs with possession of the basketball. McCauley with it. I'd like to see the Indians try to get it back into Dent. I know they're playing a zone and they're sagging down in there underneath on us, but see if we can't get it inside the big man. He's had some success in there. Gray with the basketball. Spin move off the backboard. Tough shot. Gets it to go against Chase. 5-point lead for Baxter. Albertini with it. Spins to the elbow. Feeds it out to Chandler Bradshaw. Cross-court pass to Lemons. Now down to the corner, Chase Bradshaw. Baseline jump shot, no good. Appleton with the rebound. Indians can't buy a bucket now in the last 3 or 4 minutes after they tied this score at 28. They're stuck on 28. Baxter Springs is now 33.
Yeah, I think this is a big possession. You don't want to see that lead creep up to much more than 7 or 8. I mean, it's at 5 now, but you don't really want to see it go any higher.
Appleton or Gray at the elbow with the basketball. Out to Morris. Morris, now Chase Bradshaw on Morris. 3-point shot, long 3-point shot off, no good. That shot put up by Stolte, 5'8" junior. He misses it, goes back to the Indians. 1:51 left to go here in the third period. Indians trail by 5, 33-28.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see the ball at least go into Easton Dent. This possession doesn't mean he has to shoot it, but it sure needs to go to, he at least needs to get a touch, Dan.
Lemons with the basketball up top to Albertini. Into the free throw line, now back to Albertini. Pull-up jump shot, no good. Backside rebound, Morris for Baxter Springs. The Indians quiet on their last 5 possessions here.
Again, another trip down the court without Easton seeing the ball.
And 1 shot, and Baxter Springs at the rebound. No offensive rebounds against this zone. And a good give and go, and McCauley scores for Baxter. Timeout, Coach Wettrick. Full timeout. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout with St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back out of the 1-minute timeout. St. Paul basketball. Lemons with it. They trail by 7 due to the Indians in the third quarter with 1:11 left to go here in the third. Albertini drives towards the rim, feeds it to Dent. Dent spins in front of the rim, shot up, and he scores. 5-point lead for Baxter Springs. Under a minute to go. Full court pressure applied by the Indians.
Well, Dan,
little zone trap. Full court pressure, Ross.
Yeah, but we talked about 5 possessions in a row without Easton seeing the ball. He sees the ball that possession. What happens? We score.
Now the Indians drop into a man-to-man out to Appleton. 42 seconds left to go. Off to the right wing to Stolle. Stolle with the basketball. Chase Bradshaw picks him up. Now mismatch. Gray with a shot from the free throw line. In and out, no good. Albertini with the rebound. He feeds it ahead to Chase Bradshaw. Bradshaw floater from the baseline. He can't get it to go. And guess who with the rebound? Morris.
Yeah, we had a fast break going on that one, and not a bad shot, just wouldn't fall.
Appleton with the basketball. 15 seconds left to go in the third. The bad part about missing that shot is you give Baxter the last shot of the quarter, leading by 5. Now a long shot by Appleton off the rim, no good. And Morris, it's going to be out on Baxter Springs as Morris made his own space. 4.6 seconds left to go in the third. St. Paul's basketball. Albertini with it. 3 seconds. Albertini, three-point shot. And I don't think he traveled. 1.1 seconds left to go. They whistle Albertini for a travel. I didn't see it.
Didn't go in, though, Dan, so I guess it's no harm, no foul. Huh?
35-30. Shot at the buzzer. Long shot. No good. And at the end of 3, Baxter up to a 5-point lead, 35-30. We'll be back with their fourth quarter after this 1-minute timeout. This is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back. To start this fourth quarter, Baxter starts with the exact same lead they had at halftime, 5-point lead. Baxter Springs will start with possession of the basketball to start this fourth period. The Indians got some work to do here. They fought hard early on that third quarter, tied the score 28, but only scored 2 points after that when Baxter went to a 2-3 zone that really stifled the Indians' offense. Their shooting percentage down to 38% from the field, went from 42 to 38. So the Indians unable to make a shot. McCauley, that wasn't a three. I don't think his foot was on the line, but they give it to him. And McCauley, a rare shot from the outside, gives Baxter biggest lead of the game, 8 points.
Yeah, that's not a good start to the fourth quarter for us, that's for sure. They went that zone and made us settle for jump shots, and we weren't able to get any second chance baskets.
Dant double team now. Now the up and under shot up, no good. Chandler Bradshaw rebound, put back, good. 6-point lead for Baxter. 7:17 left to go here in the ball game. 38-32. Appleton with it. Little full court pressure applied by the Indians. Counts on. Stoley feeds it ahead to Morris, and Morris holds it at the right wing position. Now McCauley with the screen. Hayden Smith on Morris now. Pull on his shirt. Hayden, stay on him. Appleton with him. Out to Stoley. Now screen set by McCauley. Stoley around one. Now to Gray. Gray into the rim. Layup good. Poor defense by the Indians. Let Gray wide open under by the left-hand block, and he scores. It's back out to an 8-point lead. Long three-point shot by Lemons off. No good. Morris with the rebound.
Indians just they've gone a little cold here, Dan. That's again, that zone is making us settle for jump shots.
Appleton with the basketball, poked away by Albertini. Appleton ends up with it. Give and go back to McCauley. Shot up, no good. Hayden Smith with the rebound. Feeds it to head to Albertini on the breakaway. Layup, no good, but he's fouled by Morris. Albertini fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
It was a nice job of getting the ball ahead of the defense and forcing the action and then getting the foul call.
Albertini at the line to shoot 2. 8-point lead for Baxter. Pretty much got to have the free throws here. Get this back within 6, and Albertini misses his first. Poor shooting from the free throw line continues. Indians is down to 50%. Now under that for the game. Albertini's second free throw, takes a deep breath, and he buries the second one. 7-point lead for Baxter Springs. 6:11 left to go in the game. Full court pressure applied by the Indians. McCauley feeds it ahead to Stoley. Stoley cross court pass to Appleton to Gray, and he's fouled. As I don't know if this press is going to work out for the Indians, because that's going to send Gray to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, our press is kind of feast or famine, Dan. We either do a decent job of getting a steal or a turnover, or they end up with a layup, it seems like.
Gray at the line to shoot 2 for Baxter Springs. First one on the way, right in there and good. So up to an 8-point lead. He's trying to make it 9 is Gray as he settles in at the line for his second. 41-33, 6:01 left to go in the ball game. Second one on its way and right through there. 9-point lead, biggest lead of the game for Baxter. Albertini, 3-point shot, top of the key, short, no good. And that's going to be, thought that was off of us, but they say it's off of Baxter, out of bounds. Stay with the Indians.
That was a quick 3, Dan, and it was a wide open shot, but I still would like to see maybe Easton touch the ball a time or two before we take that shot.
Albertini back to Lemons. Lemons loses it on the floor. He dives on it, and it's going to be out of bounds on Lemons and go back to Baxter Springs. As 5:46 left to go in the game. 9-point lead for Baxter with possession of the basketball. Indians stay in the press. Stoley feeds it into McCulley. McCulley right down the sideline, loses it off his thigh, and he's going to end up traveling with the basketball. Right into Albertini, feeds it down, tries to feed it down to Smith. Everybody hollers just at the right time so Morris can turn his head and steal that pass as he's trying to feed all the way. Gray in, feeds it to McCulley, floater no good. Rebound Morris, put back good. Biggest lead of the game for Baxter Springs, 11-point lead, getting out of hand for the Indians here the way they've been shooting lately. Swatted out of bounds by Gray. Not many fouls in this second half, just 3 team fouls on the Indians, 2 on Baxter Springs, so not very many fouls called in this ball game.
Yeah, no one's in foul. Well, Caleb Lemon has 3, but no one's really in foul trouble. But, you know, part of that is we need to be a little more aggressive taking it to the basket to try to draw those fouls.
Bradshaw hands it back to Albertini. 5:12 left to go in the game. 44-33. Lemons drives the baseline, and he's going to be fouled on the floor. Third team foul on Baxter Springs. That foul's going to be whistled on Morris. Second on him. Albertini with the basketball. Looks inside. Feeds it to Chandler Bradshaw. 2-point shot. No good. And the backside rebound comes to Gray as Hayden Smith ends up on the floor. And now tipped back to Albertini. Layup, no good, but he's fouled by Gray.
Yeah,
Hayden Smith caused that. He poked that away. And then good hustle by Bradshaw to poke it back to Albertini.
Yeah, if we're going to claw back into this, Dan, we're going to need a few lucky breaks like that where the ball bounces our way.
We're going to have to start making a shot, Ross. We're going to claw back in this because we have went cold against this zone. It's pretty much one shot and we're done against this 2-3 zone, and we're not making them, and they're getting every rebound, and there's no putback shots.
Yeah.
And that's to be expected against a sagging zone defense, the way it kind of should be.
And you're not going to make them get out of that zone as long as we're not making shots.
But really, Ross, I mean, you need to work that ball underneath and try to get some of them and ones. You're going to be in traffic. You're going to have to make a shot. But against that zone, you're going to have to try to give a couple ball fakes, get a couple fouls called as Albertini makes both free throws back to a 9-point game.
Well, as we've talked many times, it's a lot easier to make shots when you're 3 feet from the basket than when you're 20 feet from the basket.
Gray with the basketball, feeds it ahead to Morris. Crossed half court. Morris holds the ball out at half court with it. Tries to drive past Albertini. Loses it. Stolen by Bradshaw. Feeds it ahead to Lemons. Appleton, the only one back. Layup good, and he's fouled. Just exactly what you talk about on transition points. Although Caleb Lemons kind of initiated that contact, but he gets the call. First points of the game by Lemons. He's been held quiet as a church mouse in this ball game.
Maybe that's the spark he needs to get him going, Dan. That was a nice move by Caleb. He did initiate the contact, but you know, when you're down there, you either block that shot or get the you don't let him shoot that without really coming with a hard foul.
He misses the free throw shot. Adam Albertini gets the rebound, but Adam misses the putback, and down comes Baxter, and they miss it, and right back in the hands of Lemons. Pull up jump shot, and no good. Doesn't hit anything. Appleton with the rebound, so shooting woes for Lemons continue. Baxter Spring basketball halfway through the fourth, 7-point ball game. Indians trying to claw their way back in. Appleton with it.
We've had a couple of opportunities the last 2 possessions, Dan. We just can't get the basket to fall, or the ball to fall in the basket.
Full timeout by Baxter Springs, so we'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back. Baxter Springs basketball out of the timeout. They lead by 7 with possession of the ball. Indians need to pick up their defense here. McCauley drives the baseline, spins against Dent, traveled, got away with it, feeds it back up top to Morris. Albertini feeds it off to McCauley at right wing. They're not near as comfortable with the ball not in Morris's hands. Inside to Gray. Gray spin move, shot, short, no good. Chandler Bradshaw chases it down. We'll take more shots like that.
I'm not sure that's the shot Baxter wanted to fall away from about 8 feet out.
Feed inside to Dent. Dent with a lot of contact, but he gets the shot to go. And it's down to a 5-point lead for Baxter Springs.
Again, good things happen when the ball goes into Easton.
3:20 left to go in the game. Gray up to Stoley. He looked like he walked. McCauley now with it. Layup good. He went right past everyone. No defense by the Indians. Let McCauley drive right down the baseline. You can't. You got to play a little better defense in that when you fight so hard to get back into this game. Back into Easton Dent, and he walked with the basketballs. He switched his pivot foot. Should have went ahead and went on up Easton, and instead he tried to kick it back out and nobody to go to, so he travels with it back up to a 7-point lead for Baxter, and they have the basketball.
It just seems like whenever we maybe have a chance to dig into this lead, Baxter has an answer.
Gray back to Stoley, and it's, saves it inbounds to McCauley. Somehow, Indians can't get a break. Morris, and that's going to be a reach on Chandler Bradshaw as Morris goes past him. It'll be Baxter Springs basketball, 2:43 left to go. Not a bad foul because the Indians got to get closer to the 1-1. Just the 4th team foul on the Indians. So 3 more until they get in a bonus.
Yeah, I think we need to get him in the bonus, and we're not in foul trouble other than Caleb Lemon, so we can be aggressive on defense and not worry about.
Fed into the backcourt. Bradshaw with the steal, layup, good. Timeout, Coach Watrick, and it's a 5-point ball game. Baxter tried to feed it in the backcourt. Chandler Bradshaw chased that basketball down and scores the layup, 46-41. 2:40 left to go in the ball game.
Yeah, I didn't think we were really pressuring him that hard on the inbounds pass, but it was just kind of an errant throw and went over his head, and Bradshaw hustled hard and got the ball and got it in the basket.
See what Coach Watrick does out of this timeout. See if he stays in that full court press. I imagine he will. You don't have much choice because you got to try to create, get a little closer here with 2:40 left to go, and hope Baxter Springs forces up a shot, a tough shot, and you can close out and get the rebound if you don't get the steal.
Yeah, 5 points with 3 minutes left, or almost 3 minutes left in the game, is not an insurmountable lead. It's just you're going to have to get all the breaks at this point.
Not by far, especially, but you got to get closer to the 1-1. You have plenty of time to do that. Into the game for the Indians, Hayden Smith, Caleb Lemons, Adam Albertini, Chandler Bradshaw, and Easton Dent. You can't give up any easy points off of this full court pressure, though. Look for Baxter to be aggressive. Now knocked out of bounds by Lemons, almost a steal by Lemons as they tried to feed it into Stoley. Tighter defense on Morris. Adam Albertini on him, kind of double teaming him off the inbounds. Now feed into Appleton. Appleton back to Morris, almost ahead of him. Morris guarded out top, double teamed, almost a steal by Smith. Now feeds it to McCauley. He gets down low, and it's going to be a foul underneath. Good foul underneath. It's on the floor. It's on the floor, so it'll be Baxter Springs basketball under their own rim. 15 foul on the Indians. I believe that's going to be on Easton Dent. Now guard tough on the inbounds here. Stay close to Morris. Get out on him, Chandler. Don't let him touch it. And, feet steal by the Indians. A bad McCauley on the inbounds. He tried to save it inbounds. It's going to be a foul on Baxter Springs. 16 foul on Baxter as Chandler Bradshaw comes up with the steal.
Plenty of time on the clock, Dan. We don't need to rush down and force up a 3. We have plenty of time to run the offense and get a good shot.
Chandler Bradshaw with the basketball. Back up top over to Adam Albertini. He about loses it back to Lemons. Lemons into the rank. Pull-up jump shot, no good. Fights for his own rebound and tries to save it in bounds. It's going to be out on Lemons. He continues to fight the shooting. He usually buries him shot.
Yeah.
But he's still playing hard, still playing real hard on defense. 2:08 left to go in the game. Baxter Spring basketball. Appleton back into Gray. Gray tries to feed it ahead, gets it to McCauley, and that's going to be a walk on McCauley. So Indians forcing yet another turnover. They need to make some good opportunity out of these turnovers.
Yeah, the defense is doing its job. It's now time for the offense to get a basket, Dan.
16 fouls on Baxter Springs, 5 on the Indians. 2 minutes left to go in the game. Indians trail by 5. Albertini with it. Going to have to try to score relatively quickly. Albertini with the basketball, drives in towards right wing, cross-court pass, bad pass, stolen away by Morris, and he dunks it. And then he scowls all the way down the court as if he just won the ball game. Chandler Bradshaw, pull-up jump shot from the free throw line, he scores. 1:34 left to go in the game, 43-45, 5-point lead for Baxter Springs. Bad pass by Albertini, tried a long cross-court pass, and Morris was Johnny on the spot with the steal.
Yeah, Baxter has good length on defense, and it's hard to get that cross-court pass over everybody. And, of course, the ball ended up in their best player's hands, and he knew what to do with it.
5 team fouls on the Indians, so they have one more foul to give on the floor. Need to be aggressive on the inbounds, on the full-court pressure here. Try to create a turnover. If not, probably foul relatively quickly. And then the next one after that, try to foul someone, send them to the free throw line. Hopefully Baxter can miss a few free throws and the Indians can warm up.
Yeah, Baxter's going to try to make sure it's in 15's hands, if we have to start fouling, because I'm guessing the way he's been shooting the ball tonight, free throws aren't going to be a problem for him either.
Indians have been double teaming him off this full court pressure. Adam hasn't been guarding anybody on the ball, and him and Chandler's been double teaming him on the inbounds, making him the inbounds at somebody else has been a pretty good strategy for the Indians, see if they continue that here down the stretch.
Yeah, some of the other players you can tell maybe aren't as comfortable with the ball in their hands in the open court, and they've had a few turnovers, but hopefully it's not too little too late. 2-possession
ball game, so the Indians plenty of time here with 1:34 left. They just have to start making a shot. Chandler Bradshaw's played well tonight. Him and Easton Dent has played real well. Morris with the basketball. Oh, man, he almost feeds it out, and they feed it right back to Morris off the inbounds. Now ahead to Gray. Gray ahead to Stoley. And they foul him on the floor, but that's just the 6th team foul, so next one is in the 1-and-1.
Baxter, I don't believe, has missed a free throw all night, Dan, so again, the law of averages say they're due for a miss.
They need to face guard Morris, let somebody else touch the ball, because they're going to foul relatively quickly here as screen set. Feed into the backcourt. Albertini almost steals it, has it on his fingertips. Now Morris with it, and there's a reach foul, and they're going to send him to the line. And that's the 1-and-1, and Morris goes to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. Don't expect him to miss.
Yeah, it wasn't hard to figure out what Baxter wants to do in that situation. They want to get it in 15's hands, and we were close to the steal, Dan, but when he's 6'3" and your guy guarding is 5'9", you don't have to. You can just throw it high and you got an advantage.
Need to close out here. Free throw on its way, and he rattles it over the front of the rim. So it's back up to a 6-point lead for Baxter. 1:21 left to go in the game. Morris at the line to shoot his second. He settles in at the line. It's on its way. No good. Rebound comes out to Easton Dent. Remains a 2-possession game. Adam Albertini with the basketball. Kicks it out to Bradshaw. Bradshaw back to Albertini. Back to Bradshaw. Cross-court pass almost stolen away, and that's going to be out on Caleb Lemons, and it was. Same pass. Morris jumps in the passing lane as the Indians continue to try to cross that diagonal across that zone, and Morris coming from that low spot in the zones. He's just reading it all the way, and it's right back. Now they want him to foul Stolte, and they finally do, and he's going to go line and shoot the 1-and-1. 8th team foul on the Indians, 6-point lead for Baxter Springs.
Yeah, we're making it hard on ourselves, Dan. That's 2 not good turnovers late in the game on those long passes. I mean, I think the kids felt like the offense was bogging down a little on the right side of the court and wanted to try to get it all the way over to the other side, but Morris is just too good for that.
Need to score quick off the miss. And a feed ahead to Albertini. Albertini outside the three-point line to Lemons. Long three-pointer by him. Off the back iron, no good. Dent, he's got to be a foul over the top, and it is. Wait a minute. Now I think they're calling it one. Yeah, they're going to call a foul on Appleton, I hope. He's over the top of Dent's back. And Easton Dent's going to go to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. That is just the 7th team foul on Baxter Springs. So Dent at the line to shoot the front end 1-and-1. 56.8 seconds left to go in the ball game. Dent at the line to shoot the 1-and-1. It's on its way off the back iron. No good. Rebound comes out to Gray. Free throw line's where the Indians is going to lose this game tonight, if they lose this game, because they haven't shot well from the free throw line in the first half or the second half.
Well, you know, Dan, Baxter is a good team from a good league, and we can definitely compete, but to beat teams like that, you have to do the little things well, and that includes making free throws. And, of course, when you shoot a low percentage, that just makes it very hard to overcome, and that's kind of what's happened tonight. 9th
team foul on the Indians, so next foul will put the Baxter Springs in the double bonus. Front end of 1-1, first one by Gray, and he's been perfect from the line. He shoots free throws well, and it's out to a 7-point lead for Baxter Springs with 54.4 left to go in the game.
Yeah, Gray's had a nice second half. That's his 7th point in the second half.
Gray's second free throw on its way, and right through there, and good. Pretty good smooth stroke by the senior. Way off on the three-pointer, no good. Rebound comes out to Gray. Knocked away and stolen by the Indians. Back to Bradshaw. 39 seconds. Bradshaw feeds it out to Lemons. Lemons drives the baseline. Jump shot up, no good. Well off. Chase Bradshaw with the rebound. Put back. Chandler Bradshaw is good. Timeout with 28.2 left to go. 6-point lead for Baxter Springs. Not done yet. And we're going to go ahead and take a timeout. We'll take a 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Oh, welcome back. 51-45, 6-point lead for Baxter Springs. They're going to have possession of the basketball coming out of this timeout. 28.2 seconds left to go in a ball game. 19 fouls on the Indians, so the next foul on the Indians will put Baxter Springs in the double bonus. They need to try to steal a couple inbounds plays here. Two-possession game, a couple threes to tie this game up. 28.2, it's not unheard of to come back from a lead like this, but it's going to be tough. They're going to have to come up with a couple big steals.
Yeah, we're going to need a steal, or, you know, if 15 ends up with the ball, I don't think you foul him right out of the gate, but, man, if someone else gets it, I think you do that. Of course, we fouled 34, who, now that I look at the stat sheet, Dan hasn't missed a free throw all night long either.
Gray, he's the last. Him and Morris are the two guys you didn't want to touch the ball. Stoley is probably one of them you wanted to, but double bonus the rest of the way, so that sends Gray the line to shoot two.
Give Baxter credit. They get the ball in the hands of their better free throw shooters.
27.2 seconds left to go in the game. 51-45, 6-point. Been a fun game to watch. Been a good ball game. The Indians just, once Baxter has got this 5 to 7 point lead, they crawled back in it right in the third quarter, tied it up at 28, but just not able to completely get over the hump.
No, you know, we have a chance to maybe make it a one-possession game, and we've had that a couple of times, and we just can't get the shot to fall when we need it.
Gray finally misses a free throw, 1 for 2 from the line. Quickly fed down to Albertini. Long three-point shot. No good. Easton Dent rebound. Put back. No good. Chandler Bradshaw fights for it. McCauley comes out there with it. And now Appleton with it. And he's fouled by Lemons. 15 seconds left to go in the game. That's 7-point lead for Baxter. And Appleton will go to the line to shoot two. So this is going to end up being a little more lopsided than what the ball game was all along, unless the Indians can pull something off here in the last 15 seconds.
Yeah, you know, Indians have had a good effort tonight. You can't fault them for that, and, you know, they haven't really necessarily played bad. It's just, again, a poor shooting night just kind of caught up with them.
You hope they can get rested back up by tomorrow night. Play Southeast in the last game. 1 for 2 is Appleton from the line, as they got to roll right back into this tournament, try to get back on track tomorrow night. Chase Bradshaw, long three-pointer, no good. That's not going to help shooting percentage much. And that's going to be the ball game. 8-point victory for Baxter Springs. Hard-fought victory for Baxter Springs. Good ball game for the Indians. Just couldn't quite get it going. Caleb Lemons just struggling mightily from the field the last couple games, but still playing hard. He'll get his stroke back. Don't you worry about that. 53-45 final score. We'll be back after this we'll be back with final game stats after this 2-minute timeout. This is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to the Southeast Lancer tournament, where the Indians fall to Baxter Springs in the first game of the tournament with a hard-fought victory for Baxter Springs. It was a good ball game to watch. Baxter Springs led by as many as 9 in that ball game. I don't know if they ever got up into double digits, but most of the time it was a 5-point ball game or less. Indians come out, tied the score at 28 to start that third quarter. Looked like maybe they was going to get back into it, and then got right back up to a 5-point lead. That's where the ended after the third quarter, and Baxter held off the Indians down the stretch and come out with a victory here in their ball game here tonight against the Indians.
Yeah, Indians came out with some good energy in that third quarter, and got the game tied, and you thought, okay, maybe we're going to go on a run and get a little bit of a lead, and give Baxter Springs credit, Dan. They took our best punch in the second half and responded well and got that lead back up, I think at one time up to double digits. And from that point, it was kind of a back-and-forth affair between 5 and 10 points, and we'd get a few steals and some baskets, and just where you think we were maybe going to get right back in it, Baxter would again answer. Of course, Baxter was led by number 15 Morris. She had a 20-point game. Wasn't quite as aggressive on offense the second half, and part of that's probably our defense concentrated on him more. But then 34 Gray stepped up, and he put 11 in the second half, or 9 in the second half, and had 11 for the game. And those two guys leading the way point-wise for Baxter was able to help them win this game. Indians, on the other hand, had balanced scoring. We had 3 players in double digits. Easton Dent and Chandler Bradshaw each had 14. Adam Albertini had 12. And then Chase and Bradshaw, Kayla Lemons had 2 each. And then Hayden added a free throw. Free throw percentage, I don't think it ended up horrible. But overall shooting percentage, boy, that zone in the fourth quarter really seemed to stymie us, Dan.
Yeah, Indians shot 36% from the field overall, 45% from two-point land, and 8%, 1 for 12 for three-point land, and 8 for 16 from the free throw line, shooting 50%. One stat that really sticks out to me, and I guarantee this probably won't happen again, Caleb Lemons, 1 for 12 from the field overall, just 2 points on the ball game, and 1 for 2 from the free throw line. So Caleb, well, that can't be right, though. Something's got to be wrong there. Well, either way, Caleb Lemons held pretty quiet when he's probably averaged of our highest average scorer for the season. But a hard-fought ball game by the Indian boys. Baxter, tough matchup, a good matchup for the boys, but a tough matchup, and they just fell a little bit short.
Yeah, that's the kind of team we play them 10 times. It might be 5 wins for each team. Baxter's definitely solid out of the CNC, and our kids can be proud with the way they played. It's just been nice if we could have maybe just, like I said, if we can shoot above 40%, that's the kind of game we win. But when you start shooting in those mid-30s, it's just tough to beat good teams.
I have to look at the bracket, but I believe Baxter already played Southeast. I believe they already beat Southeast, so they will be the number 1 seed in this pool. I apologize if I'm mistaken, but the Indian boys play Southeast tomorrow night, the last game of the night at 8:30. So it's going to be a late night for the Indian boys tomorrow night. Hopefully they get rested up tomorrow and get their legs back a little bit. Lemons and Albertini, especially Albertini, logging a lot of minutes here tonight. The Indians have beaten Southeast, but it hasn't been easy victory. Southeast plays pretty solid. So if the Indians can come out victorious in tomorrow night's game, they will play for 3rd and 4th place, and I believe that will be the 5 or 5:30 game on Saturday. We'll just have to see how that all works out.
Yeah, we beat Southeast earlier in the season in the St. Paul tournament, and that was also the league game. But that was I think that was a 1-point game or a 1-possession game with a little bit of a controversy on the last play, if I recall. One of those calls that could have gone either way, and it went in the favor of the Indians, and we were able to hold on and win. Now, my understanding is Southeast might be without one of their better players. They have an injury, so you always hate to see that happen. And a lot of times teams can recover from that, but it takes them a few games to kind of get used to being without one of their players. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out tomorrow. Again, I think you pointed it out correctly, Dan. The quick turnaround for us playing back-to-back nights might affect our shooting percentage, although I will say when you're shooting 35%, I'm not sure we could get much worse than that.
Is that the Wilson kid?
Yeah, I believe the Wilson kid does have. I think he hurt his knee. So
I thought I seen him out in the hallway earlier. That's too bad. He's a good ball player for Southeast. Really good. And a senior, you really hate to see it for a senior. But we'll have to see what happens tomorrow night. St. Paul plays Southeast at 8:30, so they have to recover from this tough loss. Now the Lady Indians out on the court. We'll move right into that. They're warming up here on the court. It's going to be another tough matchup between them and Baxter Springs. We look for a good matchup. Baxter Springs, a very good women's, got a very good record, playing well this year, as well as the Lady Indians. So look for a good tough matchup for the Lady Indians here, Ross.
Oh yeah, Baxter, they have a really good team this year. Probably going to be one of our top 3 or 4 teams on our girls' schedule. So, I know, you're stepping up from playing 1A schools to playing a good, solid, if not a very good, solid team in Baxter as a 3A. Our girls in the past in this tournament and the schedule have seemed to step up and play well against 3A schools. We don't seem intimidated by that, and I don't think we'll be intimidated tonight by any means. So it'll just be interesting to see. Again, our girls have the same struggles our boys have sometimes about putting the ball in the basket, but when the Indians show up, the Lady Indians, their defense is going to be there, and their defense is going to keep them in the game.
About 8:55 until tip-off, so we're going to take a little longer extended break so Ross and I could go take a break for ourselves. We'll be back here in about 5 to 6 minutes. We'll have Mark play a couple commercials and then maybe spin you a couple tunes on the radio here during our break. We're about 8:38 until tip-off. We'll be back after this extended break. You're listening to St. Paul Basketball on Hot 105. Hey, Mark, I'll holler at you when we get back, okay? Thanks, buddy. back. You there, Mark? Yes, sir. We're ready. Okay. Welcome back to the Southeast Midseason Tournament, where we are set for starting lineups for girls action here tonight for Baxter Springs, number 12. Oh my, Ross, I should have studied that one.
I don't have a program in front of me, so I'm not even going to try.
Kroakowski, a junior, for the start for Baxter. Second starter for Baxter, number 15, Allie Fry, a junior. For the Indians so far is Emily Hutcherson and Elise Doherty. For Baxter Springs, number 20, Braylee Rice, a junior. For Baxter Springs, Delaney Barnes, a senior. For the Indians, freshman Sophia Albertini gets the start. There's number 35, Emily Williams, a sophomore, gets the start. And for the Indians, Katie Coombs and Emerald Struthers. So the starters for Baxter Springs: Krokriskia, Fry, Rice, Barnes, and Williams. I'm going to have to call her by her first name, Kennedy, I can tell you that. It's a long last name, and I didn't study near good enough.
And she'll probably score about 30 points tonight, Dan, so you'll have to call that name all the time.
We'll hope so. Or, I hope the Indians play better defense than that, so hopefully not. No. So we are set for tip-off here on the floor for the Indians. Struthers, Coombs,
looks like
Hutcherson, Elise Doherty, and Sophia Albertini. So a little different starting lineup for the Lady Indians.
Yeah, Doug's not afraid to shake up the lineup every once in a while.
Regular starter, well, I say regular. Senior Taylor Watrick and Claire Bradshaw coming off the bench. I know the Indians, Ross, have been fighting some sickness on that team as far as colds and congestion and all kinds of stuff. Offensive rebound, put back up and in there. Baxter Springs with an early lead. Williams scores from the block. Gives Baxter a 2-0 lead, so not a good job on the offensive boards or defensive boards on the Indians. Struthers with the basketball. Down to Doherty. Doherty tries to feed it inside, gets it stolen away. Everybody thought it went out of bounds except for the ref, so Baxter Springs stays with the basketball.
And ref's opinion is the one that matters in that situation.
Fry with the basketball. Right wing to Rice, and it's going to be an offensive moving screen on Baxter Springs, so it goes back to the Lady Indians.
Yeah, out on the perimeter, 35, Williams was trying to set a screen, and she didn't get set all the way, and the ref called that.
Indians start with a 5 guard, everybody out of the lane. Man-to-man defense applied by Baxter Springs. Elise Doherty with the basketball. Backcourt to Sophia Albertini. Shot up, tough shot, no good. Rebound fought for. Saved in bounds by Struthers, but chased down by Baxter Springs. Rice with the basketball for Baxter Springs. Right wing, boy, she got to Kennedy, the junior. It's so much hair you can't see her numbers. Swatted away, almost out of bounds by the Indians. Saved in by Rice. She has the ball up by the timeline. Pushes off of Doherty. Gets away with it. Off the right wing to Fry.
Yeah,
into the lane she goes. Shot from the baseline. Short, no good. Emily Hutcherson with the rebound. That's got to be a foul, and it is. Who's it on? I think it's going to be on Williams, number 35.
If that's the case, that'll be 2 on her. No, they called it on 20.
Number 20, Rice with the foul. Second team foul on Baxter, first on Rice. Albertini walks the ball up the floor for the Lady Indians. They trail 2-0. Elise Doherty at right wing with the basketball, feeds it up top to Struthers. Struthers left wing over to Coombs, starts outside the arc, up to Doherty. Over to Hutcherson. Now Coombs working hard in on the block. Hutcherson in towards the baseline, kicks it out to Coombs. Coombs puts the ball on the floor, out to Struthers. Struthers, tight man-to-man defense, so look for some backdoor cuts by the Indians as we progress on in this ballgame.
Yeah, Baxter's giving the Indians a little dose of their own medicine and playing a man-to-man defense.
Struthers, tough shot, no good. Rebound to Baxter Springs. Fry with the basketball. She brings it down across half court. Feeds it off to right wing to Rice. Back up top. Back out to Rice. Rice dribbles the ball against Elise Doherty. Out to the right wing to Fry. Fry drives towards the rim. Kicks to the baseline. Cross court pass up top to Kennedy. And she's going to be fouled on the floor by Albertini. First team foul on the Indians. First on Sophia Albertini. Going to be on the floor, on the inbounds. Get on your man, Sophia.
They called that on Katie. That's not something that we can afford.
Yeah, Katie Coombs on the foul. I thought it was Albertini. Kennedy off the screen, gets right past everyone. Shot up, no good. Emily Hutcherson with the rebound. Hutcherson pushes the ball to the timeline. Crosses over into the lane. Tough shot, but she's fouled. She's going to go line shoot 2.
Looks like they're going to call that on 20 Rice. That's 2 quick fouls on her.
Quick sub into the game for Baxter Springs on 25, Delaney Anderson, a senior, to the scores table. Hutcherson to the line to shoot 2. First free throw on its way in there and good. 2-1 is the score. Indians trail by 1. Second foul on Rice. Third team foul on Baxter Springs early on in this game. 5:10 left to go in the first period. Hutcherson settles in for a second. Both of them right through there, ties the score. Full court pressure by the Indians. Just man-to-man, full court pressure. Fry with the basketball, gets across half court to Hutcherson. 24, Barnes with the basketball, is just in the game, cross court pass. Now stolen away inside, good defense by Albertini, swats it out to Doherty. Hutcherson saves it back into Doherty. Bad pass by Doherty. Luckily, Emily Hutcherson able to save it into her. Down to the baseline, now feed into Doherty. Doherty, a tough shot. Oh, it's a foul. Katie Coombs with the rebound, put back, no good. Rebound comes out to Albertini. Put back by her, good. Indians lead 4-0, right back into Fry. Fry, ooh, she carried it a little bit, got away with it. Kennedy with the basketball, now bad pass, out of bounds, goes back to the Lady Indians.
It's nice to see the Indians forcing some turnovers, and on that last possession, the Indians got 2 offensive rebounds, which, you know, you can't give up that many and expect to keep them from scoring. That is a mouthful of a name, Dan.
Sophia Albertini with the basketball off to Doherty. Just as soon as you tackle that, I'll follow your lead.
Yeah.
Hutcherson with it, shot up, no good. Nobody in there to rebound for the Indians. Pulled down by Barnes, 4-2. Indians up by 2. Barnes right back down with the basketball to Fry. Now over to Kennedy. Tries to feed it back into Barnes, but knocked out of bounds by Coombs. Katie's going to have her hands full in there. Barnes has 3 subs to the scores table for Indians. Watrick, Harris, and Claire Bradshaw. out for the Indians, Elise Doherty, Sophia Albertini, and Emily Hutcherson.
Yeah, 24, she has got a couple of inches on Katie Coombs. Usually Katie's the tallest one on the court, but not tonight.
Kennedy with the basketball. Looked like she walked, got away with it. Barnes now with it. Long ponytail. That's a moving screen. Surely they'll call that eventually. As maybe she said it first, but every time somebody goes past her, she does it.
She moves,
she
yeah.
pushes off. It does Barnes. Now, wide open three-point shot by Fry. She misses it. Backdoor rebound by Struthers. Struthers, she double dribbled as she was going to pass it down the court. Held up, and double dribbled with the basketball and gives it right back to Baxter Springs.
Yeah, she just got sped up a little bit there and just an unforced error. But, we talk about it every night with Emerald. She's going to give you maximum effort. She's going to get you all those 50-50 balls and all the hustle plays.
Turley into the game, as well as Cassida, and also Elise Doherty right back in the game for Emerald Struthers. In and out is the rotation.
Defensive slugfest so far, Dan.
Fry with the basketball for Baxter Springs. Looked like she got away with the travel. Swings it to right wing to Anderson. There's another screen set. Anderson gets around the first. It's going to be a foul on the floor on Claire Bradshaw, I believe. Unable to get her feet around quick enough. And that is on Bradshaw. Second team foul on the Indians, first on Claire. Lob inside to Barnes. Barnes with the ball peg. Backdoor feed, and that's going to be second back-to-back fouls by Claire Bradshaw off the inbounds. Third team foul on the Indians, second on Bradshaw, and that's going to send number 25 the line to shoot two, Delaney Anderson, the senior.
Yeah, 2 quick fouls on Claire. You can see the frustration on her face, but she just kind of got caught in no man's land there, and nothing she could do but foul on that one.
She couldn't have been in the game no more than 15 seconds and picked up 2 fouls, so quick trip in and out by Claire Bradshaw. Tough start for her. She'll gather herself back up here. 3:09 left to go here in the first period. 4-2 Indians lead. First free throw missed. Second one made. 1 point lead for the Indians as Anderson cuts the lead to 1, 4-3. Watrick all the way down to Hutcherson. Wide open 3-point shot. Good. From the baseline, Emily Hutcherson buries a 3 and gives the Indians a 4-point lead.
Yeah, that was senior to senior. Taylor hustled the ball up the court and found Emily, who was wide open in the corner, and uncontested three-pointer. She was able to take her time, get her feet set, and made it good.
Fry had it knocked out of bounds by Watrick. Feed into Anderson. Anderson against. Shot no good. Boy, there's a foul on number 3, Turley, on the rebound as she ran into Hutcherson. That'll be the 14th foul on Baxter Springs. And the first on Turley. Indians basketball, they lead 7-3, 2:48 left to go here in the first period. Taylor Watrick with the basketball. Fry awaits her at the timeline. Left wing to Katie Coombs, guarded by Barnes. Doherty with the basketball. Backdoor cut by Hutcherson. Baseline jump shot, no good. Backside rebound to Barnes. Katie had position, just couldn't quite get over there far enough. Anderson with it. Cut off by Doherty. Now double team, gives it back to Barnes. 3-point shot by her, good.
Yeah, the tallest girl on the court just made a 3-pointer.
1 point ball game, 7-6. Indians up by 1. Watrick with it, drives against Fry, kicks it out to Hutcherson. Hutcherson with her left hand, crosses over, has it poked away. Watrick with it, now she's to the rim. Cross-court pass to Coombs. Can she answer? No, off the back rim, but Hutcherson with the rebound. Hutcherson loses it as she tries to go through the lane, and Fry with the basketball. Baxter looks to take the lead on this possession. St. Paul leads by 1, 7-6. Kick out to Turley. Feed into Barnes. Barnes shot no good. Tipped around, controlled by Baxter. Fry with it. Another screen set by Turley. Can't see who has it at right wing, but the basketball's on the right wing. I think it's Anderson with it. And it's going to be a travel on Delaney Anderson. Baxter Springs don't like the call.
Yeah, their crowd's a little upset, and coach a little upset. They thought maybe that the travel was caused by a reach.
Good defense by Josie Harris. 7-6. Indians up by 1. 1:21 left to go here in the first period. Coombs with the rebound. Barnes on her. Hands it off to Harris. Harris reverses it back to Coombs. She drives in, kicks it out to Watrick. Three-point shot by her off the rim, just a little bit short. Harris saves it into Hutcherson. Hutcherson all the way into the rim, shot up, no good. Hutcherson with their own rebound, put back, no good. Katie Coombs with the rebound, put back by her, no good. Ball's loose on the floor, and Turley comes out there with it. Good looks by the Indians, and they couldn't get a shot to go.
Yeah, 3 offensive rebounds on that possession and nothing to show for it.
Fry with the basketball against Watrick. Feeds it up top to Barnes. 1 point lead for the Indians. 40 seconds left to go here in the first period. Corey White, the head coach, I think wanting to get the last shot of the quarter here. Barnes, now Anderson. Knocked out of bounds by Harris. It'll stay with Baxter Springs. He wants to run out the clock here. See if the Indians can play some pretty good defense here on the inbounds. Maybe get one more shot before the end of the quarter. Now feed into the backcourt. Turley, ball's loose, chasing it down. She gets it right before half court. Barnes with the basketball. Hands it off to Fry. Watrick out there above the timeline with her. 19 seconds, 17 seconds. She backs clear up into the corner. Taylor crowd her into the corner there, see if she can do something. 10 seconds left. Screen, that's a moving screen. Man, how do you not call that? Barnes just moved all over the place and shot up no good. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter. 7-6 lead for the Indians after one. We'll be back after this 1 minute timeout. This is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back after the first period, 7-6. Indians up by one. They will start with possession of the ball to start this second period. Albertini with the basketball, back to the original start five. Emerald Struthers, Sophia Albertini, Emily Hutcherson, and Katie Coombs. Josie Harris on the floor too here to start this second period. Bounce pass inside to Hutcherson, back up top to Struthers, now back to Hutcherson. Hutcherson spins towards the center. Tough shot up. Can't get it to go. Rebound to Fry for Baxter.
Yeah, the Indians had 6 offensive rebounds in that first quarter, and I think only got 2 points out of all that. That's got to be a little frustrating when you get that many second chances and not able to cash in on that.
Anderson with the basketball, drives, tries to kick it out. Turnover by Baxter Springs. Gives it back to the Lady Indians.
It's the 4th turnover on Baxter, so the Indians defense is doing a good job.
Indians offense need to warm up here, try to get something going. There's quite a few, I want to say easy shots, but a lot of opportunities at the basket. Emily Hutcherson with the basketball, left wing to Coombs. Lob inside to Struthers, shot up, no good, can't get it to go. Backside rebound to Albertini, kicks it out to Struthers, up top to Harris. Harris drives into the lane, feeds it, and she's going to get whistled for the travel by the guy down underneath. The man up by Josie didn't whistle anything. Man-to-man, full court pressure by the Indians here as Barnes feeds it into Fry.
You know, our offense doesn't probably play against a lot of man-to-man teams, and so it does probably take a little bit of an adjustment period.
Shot up by Cassida, no good. Rebound by Albertini. She feeds it down to Coombs. Coombs bounce pass out to Hutcherson, back into Coombs. Going to be Barnes over the top with the foul. 15th foul on Baxter Springs.
Nice inside-out play by the Indians. The ball went from the perimeter down to Katie, then back out to the perimeter and back down to Katie, and they got the foul.
Albertini set to put the ball in play under the basket. Feed up over the top to Hutcherson. 6:36 left to go before halftime. Indians cling to a 1 point lead. Harris all the way into the lane, and she's going to be fouled. That'll be the 16th foul. I think Harris is going to kick that out. She needs to keep going all the way to the rim, try to get a shot up and go to the free throw line. Albertini at the line, or at under the basket, set to put the ball in play. 3 subs into the game for Baxter Springs. 35 Williams, 4 Pena, and 12 Kennedy in for Baxter Springs.
It was nice aggressive play by Josie Harris, though. She, as a freshman, sometimes they don't get that aggressive, but she got the ball and had no fear going into the lane.
Hutcherson kicks it out to Harris off the inbounds. Now feeds it back to Hutcherson. Over to Struthers. Struthers into the lane. Kicks it out to Harris. Harris with her left hand resets the offense. Kicks it out top to Coombs. Coombs into the lane, all the way up and under, no good. Kind of a wild shot by Katie. Got too far into the basket. Shot's no good. And the Indians cling to a 1-point lead. 6:03 left to go. Now the ball goes right through Kennedy's hands, but she recovers it. Harris feed into Barnes. Feeds back to Kennedy, and a backdoor feed, shot missed. Put back, no good. Fought for underneath. Who's that going to be on? The ball was more or less loose.
I think he's going to call that on Sophia. She was, 14.
14 on Emily Hutcherson. 4th team foul on the Indians is Elise Doherty, Claire Bradshaw, and Taylor Watrick check back into the game for Hutcherson, Harris, and Albertini. Fry puts the ball in play. Now swatted away by Struthers. Going to be knocked out of bounds. It's going to stay with Baxter Springs. Emerald Struthers poked it away.
Yeah, she did a good job on that. She came off her man to help Katie when they were trying to get it kind of down in the post to the big girl on the inbounds play and knocked it out of bounds.
Fry with the basketball, guarded out here by Watrick. Now stolen away by Watrick. Watrick down for the left-handed layup. Shot up, no good, but she's fouled. She'll go line and shoot 2.
Yeah, Taylor just checked right back in the game and already making a positive play.
Watrick settles into the line to shoot 2. 5:39 left to go in the second period. Indians lead by 1, 7-6. First shot by Watrick. Off, no good.
Both teams off to a little bit of a slow start offensively as no one has scored yet in the second quarter.
Watrick's second free throw on its way and good. Barnes set to put the ball in play. Full court pressure by the Indians. Watrick right back down on Fry. Pushes her down the sideline, poked out of bounds. Fry wanting to reach, but she had nothing but ball there. There are no complaints there. Taylor going to really pester and Fry here, causing her some troubles, the young junior. Barnes feeds it in, now back to Barnes. Katie picks her out upside the three-point line. Cross court pass over to Kennedy. Kennedy to her left, now back outside three-point land, feeds it back out to Barnes. 5:21 left to go. Barnes right into the lane, lose it. She traveled with the ball, yeah, double dribble. And it out of her hand. Should have been a travel or a double dribble, and that's what they called. Coach don't like it because he said didn't have the ball, said had it poked away from her.
Crowd is not happy with that call, Dan.
Doherty with the basketball up to Bradshaw. And feeds it out to Coons. Coons with her left hand feeds it to Struthers. Struthers wide open for a 3. Finally shoots it. Oh, it looked good. Misses it. But Watrick fighting for the rebound. Finally chase it down. She's pushed by Fry. Knocked out of bounds. And that'll send Taylor Watrick to the line to shoot to 1-1. How many's that on Fry? That's just her second.
Just her second.
She pushed Watrick right in the back. 1-1. So Watrick will go to the line to shoot the front end 1-1.
Indians are in the bonus pretty early in the second quarter, Dan. If we can make our free throws, that'll be a good thing.
Katie Coombs coming out for a blow. That's going to leave a matchup nightmare for St. Paul as Barnes stays in the game. She's logged a lot of minutes early on here, but Coombs gets a breather with 4:53. I think that's a good idea. You don't want Katie to pick up another foul. Watrick's first free throw right through there. She gets it to go. Taylor been struggling a little bit with her shoot in the last few games, but her defense and the way she runs the offense is unreplaceable for the Indians.
Yeah, you know, what she brings to the table, I mean, when she scores, that's a bonus because what you get from Taylor is assist, getting the ball to the right people, and just her hustle and her defense. I mean, that's really where she excels.
Yeah, Watrick at the line. Rattles the second one home, so 3 for 4 from the foul line. Decent start, 4-point lead for the Indians. Now this Kennedy with the basketball, feeds it ahead to Turley, backdoor feed, now blocked by Doherty, and there's a foul, and that's going to send Hutcherson to the line as Hutcherson goes to the line to shoot the 1-1. She landed right on the basketball. I'm surprised she didn't get the wind knocked out of her, but this Baxter Springs crowd, they're just not happy. If I didn't have a headset on, I'd be hollering, moving screen every time they was playing defense, so I don't suppose I'd be too happy yet, but I'm not going to scream it in a microphone. I'll just tell you when I think they're doing it, which will be about every time down the court. Hutcherson misses the free throw. She pokes it away, and it goes out of bounds. It's going to be out on Hutcherson. It's going to go back to Baxter Springs.
Yeah, I think their crowd's a little frustrated with the calls. They're close calls, and, a lot of those times they half go to one team, half go to the other team, but sometimes you just have those games, they're the right call, but they all go against one team, and it really gets the other team upset.
Turley right down with it, top of the key to Barnes. Ball fake, she goes in lane, she loses it. It's got to be a travel again, and it is, and turns it right back over. That time it was a travel for sure. No argument from the coach. Now full court pressure by Turley as Hutcherson, Elise Doherty comes down to help her. Watrick crosses over, now behind the back against Turley, and brings the ball all the way down into the lane. She traveled with the basketball, and she did, and turns it right back over. She kind of dribbled into no man's land there, so not a good move by Taylor. Here comes Baxter Springs back with the basketball. They feed it into Turley. Watrick pushes her to her left side. She crosses back over, crosses half court with it. And that's going to be a foul on Taylor Watrick, 15 foul. And Albertini right back to the scores table for Watrick. Watrick will take a bench. First foul on Taylor, 15 foul on the Indians.
Yeah, Taylor, she's very aggressive on the perimeter, and sometimes you just pick up a foul like that.
Feed in over the top, and Albertini had it, but dribbled it once and ended up on the baseline. Katie Coombs right back into the game for the Indians as two big girls in for Baxter Springs, Williams and Barnes, so they have a lot of height in on the game right now. See how the Indians match up against this height. Inbounds play, fed up top to Kennedy. Albertini picks her up. Now Barnes with it. Coombs on her. She goes to her left, now back to her right. Kennedy back with it. Into the elbow. Now kick down to the baseline as Struthers ends up on the ground. Sophia goes out, switches. Still on Kennedy, feet inside, shot up, no good. Coombs with the rebound, Williams with the shot, and Coombs is going to be fouled by Williams, and she'll go to the line to shoot two. Double bonus the rest of the way this half. 3:41 left to go here in the second period.
That might have been a little bit of a frustration foul by Williams. She missed the shot down low. It was a tough shot. She had it down low, but it was contested, and it was a tough shot. And I think she was a little frustrated and then got the reach on the rebound.
Coombs settles into the line. A lot of free throws by the Lady Indians tonight. Shooting decent from the line. Josie Harris into the game for Elise Doherty. Coombs makes her first. Settles in for her second. It's right through there, 12-6, 6-point lead for the Indians. 3:41 left to go here before halftime.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a dangerous spot for Baxter. They haven't scored yet the second quarter. The lead's kind of stretched up to 6. If you're them, you hate to see the lead get any higher than that.
Barnes goes to her left, feeds it to Kennedy on the breakaway, scored, and she's fouled. You just jinxed the Indians' defense, Ross. And that's going to be a three-point play attempt by Kennedy Krokrauskia, the junior. 12-8, 4-point lead for the Indians, 3:26 left to go. First foul on Emerald Struthers, 16 foul on the Indians. Her free throw on its way. In and out, no good. Struthers chases it down. She slows things up again a little bit. Williams on her. Let's see, Struthers taking her off the dribble. Josie Harris with the basketball to the right. Reverses it back to Katie Coombs. Coombs reverses it back to Albertini. Albertini crosses over, kind of in no man's land, kicks it out to Struthers. Struthers resets the offense. Kicks it to corner to Albertini, lobs it into Coombs. Coombs against Barnes, blocked, and it's knocked out of bounds by Barnes. It'll stay with the Indians.
That was a good idea. I mean, even though the girl has a little bit of height advantage over Katie, there's nothing wrong with getting it inside. Katie's got good post moves, and maybe you can pick up a foul when you do that.
Fry back into the game, as well as Rice for Baxter Springs. St. Paul basketball under their own rim. Albertini with the basketball. St. Paul leads 12-8. Backdoor feed into Coombs, now back out to Harris. Harris looks inside, wants to set it up. Back up top to Struthers. Reverses to Albertini. She drives in. Boy, she's fouled by Fry. Gets away with it. Tries to force up a shot, and it comes out to Baxter Springs. Probably not a good opportunity by Sophia, although she was fouled, I feel, by Fry. Yeah. Ball's loose. Hutcherson comes out there with it.
Yeah, she got the ball in the lane and ran right into the tallest player on the court, and that wasn't going to be successful.
Well, she was fouled right before that on the floor as she was driving, but no call made. Struthers with the basketball, feeds it out to Albertini all the way into the lane in traffic. She's fouled. She'll go line and shoot two. And Williams may have just picked up her third foul. And it is on 35, and that will be her third. And double bonus rest away for the Lady Indians. Albertini settles in at the line to shoot two. First one on its way off the back iron, no good, as Watrick checks back into the game for Emily Hutcherson.
Yeah, that was a nice, aggressive offensive move by Sophia, and, you know, that's the one thing with her and both Josie Harris. They're not afraid to be aggressive on offense, which sometimes freshmen are.
Gets her second one to go, 15-8, 5-point lead for the Indians. Fry with the basketball, Watrick on her. 16 fouls for the Indians. Next foul puts Baxter in the bonus. 2:08, that's a double dribble. She got away with it. Ball was loose on the floor. Fry comes back out with it, forces up a shot, no good. Albertini with the rebound. She pushes the ball hard down the right-hand side, bounce past to Struthers, back up top to Watrick, feeds it to Harris. Harris looks inside, back up top to Watrick as they reset. Now off the left wing to Coombs. Coombs guarded by Barnes. Been a good matchup so far. Barnes playing tough on Katie. Struthers with the basketball. With her left hand into the lane, kicks it out to Watrick. Watrick into the lane, floater on the way, in and out. Can't get it to go halfway down and rattles back out. As Taylor had a good look with the floater, couldn't get it to go. Fry back down with the basketball.
Yeah, can't complain about that shot. That's one she'll make most of the time.
Off to Turley, now back up top to Cassida. She picks up her dribble, in little trouble, timeout. Baxter, and they get a timeout. And it's going to be a 30-second timeout, so we'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to the Southeast Lancer tournament here. 1:15 left to go before halftime. 13-8, Indians up by 5. Low scoring ball game, defensive battle as Baxter Springs with the basketball at the timeout. Fry with it at right wing. She looks inside for Barnes. Barnes and Coombs having a good battle down on the block. Now top to Barnes. Wide open Turley shot. No good. Backside rebound to Watrick. Under a minute left to go in halftime. Watrick down the right-hand side. Resets the offense. Hutcherson back into the game for the Lady Indians. Hutcherson, Doherty, Watrick, Coombs, and Struthers in the game. Emerald Struthers loses it between her legs, but recovers. Feeds it back to Watrick, now to Hutcherson. Three-point shot by her. Short, no good. Rebound comes out to Baxter Springs to Rice. 30 seconds left to go before halftime. Indians up by 5. Fry, right wing with the basketball, top to Barnes. Now back to Rice, down to the baseline. Shot at the baseline, up, no good. Coombs with the rebound. 18 seconds, 17 seconds. Watrick with the ball. Crosses the timeline, got plenty of time, kicks it out to Coombs. Coombs into the lane. Floater up way too hard, no good. Not a greatest shot in the world. 5 seconds. Barnes with it. She pushes the ball down hard. Feeds it off. Shot up at the buzzer, no good. So halftime score. Indians 13, Baxter Springs 8. We'll be back with their halftime stats after this two-minute timeout in the St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to the midseason tournament here at Southeast, where the Lady Indians lead the Lady Lions 13-8 here at halftime. Pretty good battle here so far, Ross.
Yeah, it's a slugfest, that's for sure. Both teams are playing excellent defense, which is making it hard for the offenses to score. You kind of look at the stats, you can see why St. Paul has the 5-point lead. We've got 8 offensive rebounds to their 3, and when you're getting second chances at the basket, you know, that's really advantageous to you. You know, actually we kind of struggled getting those putbacks in, but still, when you have that kind of offensive rebounding advantage, it really helps. And then on turnovers, they've had 8, we've only had 4. So even though we maybe aren't shooting very good, when you're winning the offensive rebound battle and the turnover battle, you should be in good shape, and that's kind of where we're at.
7:27 left to go before halftime, 13-8. The Lady Indians up by 5 in a pretty good battle back and forth here. A pretty low scoring on both sides of the basketball for Baxter Springs and St. Paul, but pretty good defense played by each team.
Yeah.
See what kind of adjustments Coach Tuck make here at halftime. We're going to have all of individual stats after this 2-minute timeout. It's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to halftime here at Southeast High School, where St. Paul Lady Indians lead Baxter Springs 13-8 here at halftime, Ross.
Yeah, the scoring, obviously, when you only have 13 points, you know, you're not going to have anyone with a lot of points. St. Paul, all 3 seniors got on the scorebook. Emily Hutcherson leads the way with 5 points. Taylor Wytrick made 3 out of 4 free throws. She has 3 points. Katie Coombs has 2 points, and Sophia Albertini, the freshman, chips in 3 points. For the first half, the Indians scored 8 of their points on free throws. They were 8 for 11 from the free throw line, shooting a very solid 73%. And, you know, I think that's the reason, obviously, the difference in the game at this point is they're getting the ball into the lane and causing Baxter Springs to foul them, and, you know, and they're cashing in on those opportunities. For Baxter Springs, they have number 24. Is that Barnes? Is that number 24, Dan?
Yes, it is. Yes.
She's got 3 points for their leading scorer. Williams, 35, has 2 points. The name no one can pronounce, Kowski, has 2 points. And then Anderson also has a point. Also of note for Baxter, number 35, Williams, has 3 fouls, which that, you know, it could be a little bit of trouble for them to have one of their starters in foul trouble in the second half.
Claire Bradshaw with 2. Does anybody else have 2 for the Indians, Ross?
No, everybody else has 1. So in foul, as far as fouls go, the Lady Indians are in pretty good shape going into the third quarter.
3:35 before the second half gets tipped off here. 13-8, Lady Indians up by 5. We'll have all of the second half started for you here after this last 2-minute timeout. You listen to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to the midseason tournament. About 1 minute until tip-off the second half. Both teams back out on the floor warming up. We look for good second half action here. What kind of adjustments you think Coach Tuck made here at halftime?
Well, on defense, I don't think he's going to make any adjustments. When you hold a team to 8 points, I'm not sure what you can do to make things any better.
Hold them to 6.
Hold them to 6. I guess that's true. You have a 5-point lead, and the other team's only scored 8 points for the whole half. I guess that's good going into the second half. On offense, we're not turning the ball over. We're getting good shots. It's just a matter of making those shots, Dan. Because like I said, we've got 8 offensive rebounds, but we really weren't able to cash in on some of those. I think that's going to be the key.
Not turning the ball over in the second half, being aggressive, getting back to that free throw line I think is going to be big, and making free throws. We'll see what the foul, a few more fouls by Baxter Springs in that first half than on the Lady Indians. So it is going to start with Baxter Springs basketball to start this third period. It'll be the same 5 starters that started the game for the Lady Indians. It'll be Emily Hutcherson, Sophia Albertini, Emerald Struthers, Elise Doherty, and Katie Coombs on the floor for the Lady Indians.
I think one thing that maybe goes unnoticed coming out of the half is the fact that Katie Coombs only had 1 foul. And, sometimes when she gets into foul trouble and we play a team with a good post, we don't have a lot of post depth, and that's going to allow her to stay in the game and be aggressive on defense.
Barnes has to put the ball in play, feeds it in the backcourt to Fry. Hutcherson picks her up as she comes across half court, and we are underway here in this third period. Let's see if we can cheer the Lady Indians off to a victory. It's going to be a tough matchup here in the second half. Barnes, cross-court pass, tough cross-court pass to Williams, gets it off to her. Now tipped back out top to Rice. Williams tries the backdoor feed to Kennedy, and it's lost. It's going to hit the backboard out of bounds, so turnover goes right back to the Lady Indians to start this third period.
Yeah, they tried to do a backdoor cut against our hedging defense out on the wing, and we were able to recover, and she got in a bad spot and threw it off the backboard.
Albertini brings the ball across half court, feeds it to the right to Struthers. See if we can get a good offensive possession to start this ball game. Coombs cuts through the lane. Hutcherson into the lane, spins in front of the rim, shot partially blocked, and it's going to be tipped and out of bounds. It's going to be out on Baxter Springs. They're going to stay with the Lady Indians.
Yeah, nice aggressive move by Emily Hutcherson, the senior, into the lane. That's what you got to do. And for unforced turnover, Dan.
Bad pass by Albertini on the inbound right into the back of Baxter Springs. It ends up in the hands of Fry, so not a good inbounds by Sophia. Trying to feed it over the top to Hutcherson, and there's no way she's going to get it over one of the Baxter Springs players right in the back, and bounced right in the center of that defense.
Yeah,
Fry with the basketball, each team with the turnover to start the third period.
Yep.
Fry, and that's going to be 3 seconds in the lane by Baxter Springs, so back-to-back turnovers by them.
Three possessions and 3 turnovers by both teams this half.
Hutcherson with the basketball. Only 1 shot put up so far in this third period, and we're a minute and a half into it. That was Hutcherson driving into the lane. Albertini picks up her dribble, feeds it right wing to Hutcherson, up top to Elise Doherty. Back to the right to Coombs. Coombs looks inside, feeds it back up top to Doherty. Doherty back to Hutcherson. Hutcherson looks into Coombs. Barnes leaning on her. Cross-court pass to Albertini. 3-point shot way long. No good. Rebound comes out to Rice.
Yeah, I think if we were a little more patient, we were posting those girls up down low. Katie Coombs and Emily Hutcherson were both trying to post up down low, and if we'd have just been a little more patient out on the wing, I think we maybe could have worked it inside.
Poked out of bounds by Hutcherson. It'll stay with Baxter Springs. Barnes feeds it in the backcourt to Fry. 13-8, same score. 2 minutes into the third. 6 minutes left to go in the third, and that's going to be a moving screen. There's that moving screen I was talking about the whole first half. Barnes, she gets set for the screen, but as soon as the player starts to roll around the screen, or as soon as her player goes past, she moves and pushes off a lot, and they whistled her for it that time.
And a lot of that's the fault of your teammate, because if your teammate leaves space between the screener and the defender, then the screener's got to move to be able to set the screen.
Albertini picks up her dribble, feeds it off to Struthers. Struthers at left wing, back up top to Albertini. The right wing, almost a bad pass, gets to Hutcherson. Indians look a little out of sorts here offensively. Not a lot of movement against this man. Now bounce pass inside to Hutcherson. Spins in front of the rim, shot up, no good, but she's fouled. She'll go line and shoot 2.
That's what we talked about a minute ago, Dan. Emily and Katie have been doing a little bit inside out, each taking turns posting up on that right side of the court. And We finally fed it down low. Emily got a pretty good matchup. The girl doesn't have any height on her. You know, they're about the same height, and Emily's athletic enough to get the shot off.
Hutcherson's free throw gets it to roll in. I think that's a good move, post move, because Barnes is a tough matchup for Katie down there posted up, but Emily, you know, a little more even matchup. I like to see her down on that post as she makes both free throws.
Plus, you're pulling out their tall girl on the perimeter, so if you miss the shot, they don't really have her down low to rebound.
Yeah, you possibly have an offensive rebound here as Baxter Springs right back down with the basketball. That's Rice with it. Doherty picks her up, right wing to Kennedy. Williams, that's a moving screen. It could have been whistled on her, and a pass inside swatted out of bounds by Struthers. You could see a little pick and roll action there that Baxter Springs trying to pull off, but Williams very easily could have got whistled for a moving screen too. She was really leaning on the way past.
They push that rule to the edge, don't they?
Yes, they do. Watrick back into the game as well as Harris and Bradshaw. Let's see if Claire can get something going. Barnes with the basketball, double team down there. Shot up on its way. She kicked it out. No good. Rebound is fought for underneath. And we got a jump ball up top. And it's going to be possession arrow to the Indians. Harris and one of the Baxter Springs. I didn't catch the number 3, I believe.
Yes.
Turley got tied up. Well, Baxter, a lot like the Indians, Ross. A lot of sophomores and juniors on the roster, just 2 seniors. The Indians with 3 seniors on the roster, but they get extraordinarily young after that with freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah, in a game like this where you're grinding it out, it's nice to have that senior experience.
15-8, Indians up by 7. Kick out to Struthers, up top to Harris. Swings it around to Coombs. Coombs guarded by Barnes, dribbles to the free throw line, kicks it out to Struthers, now to Harris. Harris spins into the lane, shot up no good, but she's fouled. That's number 12, Kennedy Koroskia on the foul. How'd I do, Ross?
Better than I would have done, Dan.
Harris at the free throw line to shoot 2. Third team foul on Baxter.
Another aggressive move by one of the freshmen.
Harris free throw up high off the rim, no good.
We've only scored 2 this quarter, Dan, which isn't very good, but considering Baxter hasn't scored yet, we're still increasing the lead.
The second one gets over the front of the rim and crawls in. All the points this half has been free throws by the Indians. Turley with the basketball. Watrick cuts her off now to the left. She walked. Yep. And they get her whistled for the walk, so another turnover. Indians defense playing well this half so far. Taylor Watrick needs a little help on the inbounds. She feeds it into Struthers. Struthers swats it right back to her, and we're underway here. 4:34 left to go in the third. 16-8. Biggest lead of the game by the Indians. 8. Let's see if they can get this into double digits this possession.
Yeah, if I'm Baxter, this is a pretty important possession because I don't think you would, especially when you're struggling to score, you don't want to let this lead get into double digits.
Watrick in a little trouble, feeds it back out to Struthers as they kind of reset. Backdoor feed. Ooh, man, if she'd had a better angle, Struthers had Harris on the backdoor cut.
Yeah, that would have been a tough pass.
It was a tough pass from where she was at. Claire Bradshaw kicks it out to Coombs. Coombs with her left hand kicks it out to Harris. Harris inside, kicks it to Struthers. Struthers drives into the lane. She puts a shot up, can't get it to go, and rebound comes out to Baxter Springs. Kennedy with the rebound.
Can't complain about that shot, though,
Nope,
Dan.
it was a good shot. It was everywhere but in, too. Good move. Barnes has it poked away. Now Turley into the rim. She's going to be fouled on the floor. Nope, it's going to be on the floor. On the floor, and it was on the floor.
Yeah.
No NBA continuation here. 3:41 left to go in the third. 16-8, 18-point lead for the Lady Indians. Turley with the ball under the basket for Baxter Springs. Set to put the ball in play. Looks inside for Barnes. Now finally gets it into Rice. Rice resets it up above the timeline. Right wing to Turley. To Williamson. Over to Rice. Now to Barnes. Coombs jumps in front of her and gets it. Boy, they was really battling. I'm surprised there wasn't a whistle there, and Baxter Springs was wanting a whistle.
Katie probably could have she kind of had her arm pinned down on that pass. She probably could have got a foul on that.
Another good-looking shot by Claire Bradshaw. She can't get it to go, but Harris with the rebound. She's fouled, and that's the 4th team foul, so it'll be Indians basketball under their own rim. That's on Kennedy Koroskia. How many is that on her? Because she's coming out.
I think that's only 2 on her.
2 on her. 4th team foul in the second half on Baxter Springs. St. Paul basketball on the sideline. Feed into Elise Doherty, who's back into the game. Doherty picks up her dribble, feeds it to Bradshaw. Bradshaw out above the three-point line, feeds the top of the key to Harris. Tight coverage by Baxter Springs. Watrick into the lane, tough shot up, she gets it to go.
Yeah, nice move by the senior.
Full court pressure applied by the Indians now. Turley with the basketball, now gets it stolen away by Watrick. 2-on-2, Watrick pull up jump shot, no good. Rice with the rebound, that's going to be a foul on Coombs. Good hustle by Taylor Watrick. Maybe not the best shot in the world. I think Coach Tuck wanting to set up in their half-court offense, but either way, good hustle by the senior. Tough shot before that, can't falter for that. Katie Coombs picks up her second. Emerald Struthers in for her. Good move by Coach Tuck.
Yeah, when you have a 10-point lead, I think it makes it easier to set your only center on the team. You know, you can get away with that a little bit.
Rice with the basketball off to Turley, feed into Williamson, down the baseline, cross-court pass to Rice, back up top to Anderson. Anderson feeds it to Barn, now inside to Williamson, and that's going to be a travel on Baxter Springs, and Emily Hutcherson back into the game for Taylor Watrick. Give her a big hand, playing hard here in this third period.
Doing what Taylor does, Dan. That's playing scrappy defense, getting steals, and nice drive to the basket a few minutes ago.
2:23 left to go in the third. 18-8, 10-point lead. Claire Bradshaw all the way in and fouled hard. She ended up running into Anderson, but she was fouled on the floor first. Fifth team foul on Baxter Springs.
Yeah, Claire didn't hesitate. She got that ball and went right to the basket and really forced the contact, and it was, you know, she got bumped by the defender.
Third on Turley. Fifth team foul on Baxter Springs. St. Paul gets it inbounds. Struthers. I wonder if Struthers could take Barnes off the dribble, you think, Ross? Maybe clear it out a little bit.
She's get her out far enough on the wing, maybe.
Struthers with it, into the lane, pull up, jump shot. Can't get it to go. Off the back of the iron. Good looking shot.
You called it, Dan.
Just couldn't get it to go. Barnes with the rebound.
Although Barnes moves very well for a tall girl.
She does. Turley with it, up top to Williamson. Now Rice wide open on the left wing. Bradshaw picks her up. Boy, she looked like she traveled. Anderson now with it. The right wing over to Turley. Struthers working hard on Burns.
Yeah.
Definitely height advantage. Now foul away from the ball. Who's that going to be on? It's going to be on the Indians. It's going to be the third team foul. It's going to be on number 15, Elise Doherty.
Yeah. I'm surprised they don't try to post Barnes up. She's probably got 5 inches on Struthers, and you know she'll flash across the lane, but then she flashes out to the perimeter. They're not keeping her down low. I think that's an advantage Baxter have, especially when you're struggling scoring. As we talked about, shooting the ball from 2 feet's a lot better than shooting it from 15.
Fry into the game, inbounds it to Barnes. Barnes tries to throw it like she was right back to her, but she already went to the outside and threw it right out of bounds. So turnover on Baxter gives it back to the Lady Indians. Doherty with it, almost stolen away. Harris chase it down, and she's going to be fouled. That'll be the 6th team foul on Baxter Springs.
That's maybe a cheap one on that foul, Dan. She reached a little bit, but I'm not sure that was one that should have been called.
First on Anderson. Claire Bradshaw set to put the ball in play for the Indians. Trying to make some space, lob in top. Tough pass. Struthers gathers it up. Elise Doherty with the basketball, hands it off to Claire Bradshaw. She's into the lane. She's blocked by Barnes. Clean block as Bradshaw has it rejected. And Fry with the basketball for Baxter Springs. Feed into Barnes. Tries to feed it to the backside. It's going to be a foul by Harris. Not a very smart foul by Josie. She just kind of lost her footing and leaned into her a little too much. It was on Anderson. Third team foul is first on Harris.
Yeah, but again, they did finally get the ball down into the post, but instead of taking that ball up strong with her height advantage, she tried passing it off to the girl cutting through the lane.
Fry with the basketball. Circles around. Gets it in to Rice. And feed back up top to Anderson. 57 seconds left to go into third. Rice back with it. Struthers on her. Coombs back into the game. And Sophia Albertini.
Yeah, Katie's had a nice rest.
Fry with it. Looks inside to Williamson. Double team there. Good double team. Swatted away. And there's going to be a late foul. It's going to be on Katie. And not too sure Maybe should have left her out for a minute, and she did pick up her third, and she was in the game about 10 seconds. I might have held her out the rest of the third quarter because Watrick into the game. And it's going to be a foul on Katie. She just picked up her third with 40.9 seconds left to go here in the third period. Boy, there's a push by Barnes. Barnes tries to feed it off the wing to Williamson, out of bounds, and it goes right back to the Lady Indians.
Again, Barnes gets that ball in the paint. She needs to go up with it. That's 2 times in a row she's passed the ball.
Doherty feeds it into Watrick, who hands it to Hutcherson. 35 seconds. See if the Indians go for a last shot here with a 10-point lead, 18-8. Hutcherson guarded by Rice. Need a little help out here. She's with her left hand, crosses back over, has it poked away. Ball's loose on the floor, still loose on the floor, and it's going to be out of bounds on Fry. 16.4 seconds. The Indians pretty stagnant, just wanting Hutcherson to dribble out. I know he's going for a last shot, but nobody else really moving.
No one recognized that she was kind of getting in a little trouble there and needed to help maybe pass the ball off, and almost a turnover.
Hutcherson with the basketball. Now Watrick just stands in the corner a long ways from her. 10 seconds left. Now she drives right past Rice all the way to the rim, blocked by Barnes. Out to Albertini. Lise Doherty, three-pointer at the buzzer. No good. Put back by, and no good as Albertini should have just threw it back up. She was in traffic. So at the end of the third quarter, 18-8, Lady Indians lead by 10. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You know, St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back at the end of 3, 18-8, Lady Indians up by 10.
Yeah, that quarter, Baxter wasn't able to score. They had 8 turnovers, Dan, to our 1. So, you know, when you only have when you have 8 turnovers, that's not going to be a good quarter.
Barnes inbounds it into Fry. They start the fourth quarter with the basketball. Rice off to Anderson at right or left wing, back up top to Rice, back to Anderson. Up to Barnes. Katie Coombs stays on the bench with 3 fouls early on here in the fourth. Shot from the free throw line by Fry, off, no good. Watrick with the rebound. She slows things up with the 10-point lead. 7:32 left to go in the game. Watrick, right wing over to Bradshaw, right back up to Watrick. Stands up above the timeline, very patient on offense here, looking for the right shot. Struthers with the basketball. Dribbles free throw line, hand off to Albertini, into the lane, shot up. And that's a charge as she drove right in to Anderson. And it's going to be a charge on Sophia Albertini. And the young freshman should have probably just dribbled it out and reset everything with 7:15 left to go in the game.
Yeah.
Fry loses it on the ground. Watrick after it. And that's going to be, well, I don't know what it's going to be. Whistled up for it, even went out of bounds.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a foul on Fry?
That's the only thing he can call.
White ball, yeah.
Yeah, because Taylor was not out of bounds when she finally got the ball, and the only thing that happened was, and I didn't necessarily think Fry fouled her, but she kind of jumped on top of her as they were going for it. So
good hustle by Watrick. Ross, she poked that basketball away. It's kind of loose now. 17 fouls, so Watrick's going to go to the line and shoot to 1-1.
Yeah, that's one of the things Taylor does best is she is very pesky on defense. Just really makes it hard for you to dribble the ball up the court.
Well, it was one of them balls where Fry kind of looked like I'm going to let it go out of bounds because the long ways forward is going pretty quick. And all of a sudden, Watrick took out after it. And she decided, oh, heck, I better go do something. And right before it went out of bounds, he blew the whistle, so I knew he had to be calling something. In and out, no good on the free throw. Barnes with the rebound. 7:06 left to go here in the ball game. 18-8. Indians up by 10.
Yeah.
Rice with it, hands it off to Fry. Fry up towards half court. Watrick comes out on her. 16 fouls on Indians. Now Barnes inside, shot up, no good. Ripped away by Sophia Albertini off the miss. Slow up Sophia. She does. Kicks it out to Watrick. Watrick into the lane, kicks it out to Struthers. Struthers smartly, wises, holds up. Need to find some help here. Picks up her dribble, feeds it off to the senior Hutcherson at left wing. Hutcherson guarded by Rice. Now Sophia Albertini, three-point shot off the back iron, no good. The rebound comes out to Rice for Baxter Springs.
Not a bad shot, Dan, but when you're up 10 in the fourth quarter with 6 minutes left, I'm not sure that's the actual shot you want.
Rice with the basketball. It's a perfect shot if you make it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad shot at that point in the ball game. Doesn't bother me as much as maybe in the last 2 minutes of the game. It definitely wouldn't be a smart shot. But Fry with the basketball drives to her left. She's going to be bumped by Watrick. That's going to send Fry to the line 1-1, as that is the 7th team foul. And I just noticed that Fry on that last foul picked up her 4th, Ross.
Yeah, and she's kind of their main ball handler, Dan. If she fouls out with our pressure defense, that's going to make it awful hard for Baxter to chip into this 10-point lead.
And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but the Indians have jumped into that full court pressure when she's out of the game. So that's something. Hey, that foul wasn't on Barnes, was it?
I did not see
against
Dan.
Barnes. I thought it was against Fry, because Watrick's the one that committed the foul, and it was on Fry. Unless, heck, I have no idea how that happened. Maybe the coach just outsmarted him, sent the wrong player to the line. But
well, Baxter finally got on the scoreboard in the second half with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
18-10, 8-point lead for the Lady Indians. Watrick feeds it back to Doherty. Doherty picks up her dribble, feeds it out to Coombs at left wing. She's back into the game. Cross-court pass almost out of the reach of Watrick. Kicks it out to Doherty. Doherty into the lane, out to Coombs. Coombs against Barnes at the baseline, drives into the lane, bounce pass out to Harris. Harris into the lane, in trouble, spins, shoots, and she's going to get whistled for a travel.
Yeah, I like the aggressiveness, Dan, but we were doing a nice job of working the clock there.
Ball's loose on the floor. It's going to be a jump ball. Possession error is going to go to the Indians off the inbound. So turnover gives it back to the Indians. Indians need to try to get something going offensively here. They've been held pretty quiet also lately.
Yeah, the Indians haven't scored the fourth quarter yet.
Watrick feeds it into Doherty. Boy, she got a little push by Fry. And there's going to be a foul. That's going to be the 5th foul on Fry. She just fouled out of the game. That's going to send Taylor to the line. 8th team foul. It's going to send her to the line, shoot a 1-1.
Yeah, that's
5th foul on Fry. The young ladies had a good game for Baxter Springs. Maybe not necessarily at the points total, but really running their offense.
Yeah, when you're playing a team like St. Paul that pressures you on defense, even if you don't score, having a girl that can get the ball down the court and get the ball in the right place makes a big difference.
Watrick makes her first big free throw by Taylor. 9-point lead for the Indians. 5:18 left to go in the ball game. Settles in for her second. It's on its way off. No good. Barnes with the rebound. 5:16 left to go in the game. Left ring Torillo inside to Barnes and layup good. There's that feed inside as she got around Coombs. Now full court pressure by Baxter. Feed back to Doherty. 19-12, 7-point lead for the Indians. Doherty with the basketball, feeds it to Harris. Look for the pressure to start picking up by Baxter Springs. 4:51 left to go in the game. Doherty at right wing with the basketball.
Yeah, and it's always tough. You don't want to lose your aggressiveness on offense, but you don't want to take bad shots either.
Taylor Watrick all the way to the rim. Shot up no good, but she's going to go line shoot 2. Almost got it to go. She split the defenders with 4:40 left in the game. 7-point lead, 19-12 for the Lady Indians. Watrick at the line to shoot 2. A lot of time left in this ball game. Watrick's first one on its way right through there and good.
Yeah, free throws going down the stretch are going to be really important, Dan.
9th team foul on Baxter Springs. The next foul on them will put the Indians in double bonus the rest of the way. Watrick's second free throw on its way and right through there. Good job, Taylor Watrick. That trip 2 for 2, 21 to 12, 9-point lead for the Indians. Torello crosses over against Watrick. Now you don't want to foul here. You want to play good pressure defense, but they are in the bonus also.
You can tell they're missing their ball handler.
Kennedy to Torello. Torello right wing with it. She travels with the basketball over at right wing. Turley, not Torello. Sorry. And it'll be full court pressure by Baxter Springs. Doherty's going to inbound it as Claire Bradshaw and Watrick line up.
Baxter's extending the press, trying to create some turnovers.
Feed in over the top to Bradshaw. She backs off. Now under pressure by Anderson. Crosses over against her. Feeds it ahead to Doherty. Doherty to her right towards the top of the key. Right wing to Coombs. Coombs towards the free throw line. Kicks it out to Bradshaw. And Bradshaw with her left hand up top to Watrick. Look for Emily Hutcherson. Probably come to the scorer's table here pretty quick too, Ross. Feed to Harris. Shot up. She's going to walk with the basketball. She had a good backdoor cut. She traveled with it, and that's going to send Hutcherson, Albertini, and Struthers into the game.
Yeah, it was a good cut by Josie. That ball just kind of hit her as her feet were kind of in mid-step, and she just had a little extra half step in there.
Maybe should have put the ball two-handed on the floor, one dribble. You know, she is going to get her feet structured right, but it was a good backdoor cut, good pass. She made the shot, but she traveled right for it. Barnes with the basketball, 21 to 12, 9-point lead. Feet inside, good feet inside. Shot up, no good. Williams with the backside rebound. Back up top, and Anderson with Rice with the shot. Rebound, Anderson, put back, no good. This time Hutcherson comes out there with it.
Yeah, Baxter had some chances that time, just couldn't get it to fall. That's kind of been their night tonight.
Out top to Struthers as the Indians reset. 3:20 left to go in the game. They lead by 9, 21 to 12. Doherty right wing with the basketball. Williams on her. Feed up to Struthers. Struthers guarded closely by Rice. Feeds it off to Hutcherson. Hutcherson above the timeline. Right wing to Coombs. Coombs guarded by Barnes. And that's going to be a foul on number 3, Turley. And that's going to send Sophia Albertini to the line to shoot 2. Indians in double bonus the rest of the way.
I think Turley might have fouled out with that one, Dan.
And she did. 5th foul on her. 10th team foul on Baxter Springs. Albertini is going to go to the line and shoot 2 as soon as we get back underway. Kennedy Krokroskia back into the game. Albertini settles in at the line. First one on its way. Gets it over the front of the rim and goes. So she'll settle in for the and 1. Second shot on its way. She gets it to rattle home and good. 23 to 12, 11-point lead for the Lady Indians. Biggest lead of the game for them with 2:50 left to go in the game. Timeout, Baxter Springs. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back as St. Paul out of this timeout has a 23 to 12 lead, a lead by 11, the biggest one of the game. 2:49 left to go in the game. Barnes out of the timeout by Baxter Springs. Inbounds the ball to Rice. Rise to her left, back to her right. Oh, tries to feed to Barnes. She wasn't even looking, and turnover goes right back to Katie Coombs.
Turnovers have definitely been a problem for Baxter Springs the whole game, Dan.
Struthers up top to Hutcherson, feeds it to Elise Doherty. To Coombs. Coombs over to Albertini at left wing. 2:20 left to go in the game. St. Paul up by 11. St. Paul trying to advance to the championship game tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. To be determined if they can come out of here with a victory, who they will play yet. I believe as it sits now, Columbus probably the favorite in that pool. I know Columbus beat Erie, and they play Southeast after this here tonight.
Yeah, I think it sets up for Columbus.
St. Paul, I think, would love to get that matchup again because they'd like to avenge a preseason tournament loss to Columbus.
Yeah, they shot 14% that game, Dan. Those are hard to win.
Hutcherson misses her first, makes her second. 12-point lead for the Indians. 2:16 left to go in the ball game. Indians lead 24-12. St. Paul boys, after tomorrow, won't know what time they play Saturday till after tomorrow night. They will either play at 1:30 or 5. That's a foul on Sophia Albertini, and that's going to send Kennedy Koroskia to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. 8th team foul on the Indians. Or is that foul on Katie Coombs?
They called that on Katie.
That is her 4th foul. That's quite surprising. I thought it was on Sophia. Sorry, Sophia. Trying to blame you for something you didn't do.
Yeah, but I think we'd rather have the foul on Sophia than Katie.
2:05 left to go in the game. Katie picked up her 4th foul, so back into the game's Taylor Watrick for her. At the line is Baxter Springs to shoot 2. Or she missed her first. 1-and-1. She's up the line to shoot the 1-and-1. She missed it. Rebound comes to the Indians. They lead 24-12. Under 2 minutes left to go in the game. Watrick with the basketball up above the timeline. Crosses to her left. Feeds it back to Albertini. She loses it. Now recovers. Feeds it back to Doherty. Doherty back to Albertini. She stands up above the timeline. Gets around the defender. Kicks it back out to Struthers. I heard a lot of slapping there. No call. Struthers gets fouled. And she'll go to the line to shoot 2. Double bonus the rest of the way. That foul's on Kennedy Koroskia. 3rd on her.
Indians are content to let that clock just keep running, Dan.
1:34 left to go in the game. Struthers at the line to shoot 2. Misses it. A lot of points from the free throw line for the Indians. A lot of trips to the free throw line for the Indians tonight.
The Indians only have 1 field goal the second half, Dan, but everything else is by free throws.
Holy cow. Yeah. Struthers makes the second. Shows you the importance of being able to shoot free throws. And not that they're making every one, but they're shooting decently from the free throw line.
Making enough to maintain the lead and keep Baxter from digging into it.
Indians have only allowed Baxter to score 4 points in the second half. That's a pretty good feat. And there's an offensive foul on Baxter Springs on Kennedy Koroskia. She just picked up her 4th player control, so no free throws. St. Paul basketball. Watrick stands in the backcourt. Now she walks it up with 1:17 left to go in the game. 25-12, 13-point lead. Looked like Watrick might have had a lane to go all the way to the rim. She pulls it back out. Now Doherty's tripped by Williams, so she'll go to the line to shoot 2. So Amalia Williams is a sophomore. Barnes is a senior, but Rice is a junior. Fry is a junior. Korosky is a junior. Turley's a sophomore. The rest are all sophomores and juniors. So Baxter going to be good next year. Just you lose Delaney, Barnes, and Anderson.
Yeah, they're set up to be very competitive in the CNC next year. Probably one of the top teams going into next season with all their youth.
At least Doherty buries both free throws, so the Indians continue to go to the line. 26-12, up by 14. 1 minute left to go in this game. So Indians going to move into the championship game tomorrow night, probably, quite possibly, versus Columbus. If Columbus can get past Southeast, that's a foul on Struthers. Not a smart foul on Emerald. As you don't want to stop the clock with a 14-point lead although it is the 1-and-1, and she got past her going down the baseline. So she's going to make Delaney earn it from the free throw line. That's a violation on Emily Hutcherson, but she makes it anyway. Katie Coombs checks back into the ball game for Emily.
Barnes is the only one to score.
Excuse me, for Sophia Albertini.
Barnes is the only one that scored this half for the Lady Lions.
Second free throw by Barnes. Well, I don't know what I said. Delaney, I think. She misses it. Ouch! Coombs with the rebound, but she ends up on the floor hard as Williams turns loose of the basketball, and Katie slams to the floor. It's going to be, they call it jump ball. Possession error to Baxter Springs. And timeout, Baxter Springs. With that, we'll take a short timeout. We'll take a 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back. 49.9 seconds left to go in the game. St. Paul Lady Indians lead by 13, 26-13. Playing good defense this ball game. Holding Baxter 13 points on the game, 5 in the second half.
Yeah, it's been a struggle for them offensively. Turnovers have been kind of a big story for the reason they're unable to score. But even when they get some decent shots inside, they just have not fallen for the Lions.
Baxter Springs basketball out of timeout. Rice with the ball, set to put the ball in play for Baxter under their own ring. Feeds it into Barnes. Barnes against Coombs all the way in. Gets it to go. Had a little success the last time she's been on the block.
Yeah, Katie with 4 fouls was not going to try to contest that too hard.
Foul on Emily Hutcherson. She'll go the line to shoot 2 with 38.3 seconds left to go. 11-point lead for the Lady Indians. Hutcherson settles or makes her way up to the foul line to shoot 2.
And I believe the Lady Indians, Dan, have snuck back into the rankings for state. I think they're 8th or 9th, deservedly so.
First one rattles off, no good. Yeah, I would think so. There's 2 losses, one to Opie, which is obviously probably one of the big favorites.
Yeah, they're the number 2 team in the state for 1A.
And then Columbus, it's if that's their worst loss so far, that's a pretty good loss if that's their worst one. Third, 28 seconds left to go. 28-15, 11-point lead as Hutcherson misses both free throws. Rice with the basketball, feeds it into Barnes. Barnes loses it for a second, back to Rice. Kennedy with it all the way to the rim. Shot up, no good. Back rebound by Baxter. Put back is good. 26-17. Now a steal by Baxter Springs. Barnes with a 3-point shot off, no good. At the buzzer, and the final score is going to be Lady Indians 26, Lady Lions 17. We'll be back with your final game stats after this 2-minute timeout. You're with St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. welcome back, where the Lady Indians come out with a nice victory over Baxter Springs, 26-17. And a final score there. Ross, you want to go down scoring real quick?
Yeah, the Lady Indians, no one had big night for either team by all means, but Indians were led by Taylor Whitrick, had 8 points, 5 in the second half. Emily Hutcherson had 8 points. She had 5 in the first half. Sophia Albertini had 5 points for the third leading scorer. Katie Coombs played great on defense, but was limited to 2 points on defense. Then Emerald Struthers, Josie Harris, and Elise Doherty each had 1 apiece. I think the big stat for the Indians tonight was the free throws. The Indians went to the free throw line 29 times compared to Baxter Springs 6 times. And obviously, you know, I'm sure, and we heard a lot of complaints from their crowd. You know, some of it obviously were close calls, but anytime you can get to the free throw line that many times compared to your team, the other team, that's a good sign of what's going to happen. The Indians shot 66% from the free throw line for the game, which wasn't great, but it was definitely good enough. You know, you look at the Lady Lions for Baxter Springs. They only had 9 points in the second half, and they had 9 turnovers. That's not a good formula for success.
Okay, tell me how many made free throws that is on 29 attempts, Ross.
They had 19 for 29.
19 of the 29 points free throws. That's a lot of trips free throw line, or 27 points, but that's a lot of free throws, Free throws is the name of the game. And, you know, credit that to their offense, Ross. They just did a better job of taking the ball to the basket and, you know, getting foul calls. Obviously, there was some on the ball handling, but a lot of them was on backdoor cuts or somebody going to the rim and obviously getting fouled. So, you know, a good ball game put together by Coach Tuck and the Lady Indians.
Yeah, I'd say that's what the adjustment was at halftime. We only had 1 field goal in the second half, Dan. Everything else was free throws, and a lot of that's, and I'm sure they were in the locker room at halftime saying, drive the ball to the basket and make them foul us, and that's what happened.
So St. Paul advanced. St. Paul Lady Indians advanced to the 6 o'clock championship game versus, I believe, well, it'll probably be either, well, it just depends. It'll probably be either Erie or Columbus, if Columbus, Southeast could get around Columbus. But I'm sure Columbus is a favorite in this game, so we will see what happens. They're getting ready to play here, so St. Paul may get a chance to avenge a loss. Now the boys, depending on what happens tomorrow night, but the boys lost tonight. So they will either, we know for sure this, they will either play at 1:30 or 4:30 Saturday, depending on if they win or lose tomorrow night. If they lose tomorrow night, they'll play at 1:30. If they win tomorrow night, they'll play at 4:30. So hopefully it's a 4:30 game, and we can go boys at 4:30 and girls at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that would work out well for the parents and the fans. It's, you know, it's a Saturday, Dan. There's nothing the weather's bad outside. You can't go out and work in the yard. If you're a fan of the Indians, you might come over to Cherokee. It's not that far of a drive, and watch some basketball. The teams are playing both pretty good right now. It's a fun tournament to be at. They've got nice facilities here, and it'd be worth your while to come over.
It sure would. And if you can't, listen to us on the radio or join us on the live stream. Well, I think Mark back in the studio. I think Larry will be back in the air chair covering Saturday. It's a busy weekend for him as Chanute also playing in a tournament, but he thinks he'll be able to get back to the studio and get us on the air here Saturday, depending on what time we play. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Boys come out with a loss, but the girls come out with a victory. Boys play tomorrow night, last game of the night, so it's going to be a little bit, we're going to have to wait and see how things go before we see what time we will play for sure. It's scheduled for 8:30, but this game was scheduled for 8:30, and it's about 10 minutes behind schedule, so not too bad. So we'll look for us on the air about 8:20 to 8:40, something like that, where St. Paul will play Southeast boys. I want to thank Ross for helping me out, and I want to thank Mark back in the studio, and thank everybody for listening to St. Paul basketball. You've been listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105.